What is going on, gearheads? This is famous comedian and television actor, and now movie writer and director, Jerry the Real Deal Seinfeld. That's right, folks, I am back for one intro. See, I was paid for 10 intros, and since Gearbox was put out of its misery, I owed Hack Ride Studios one intro. So here it is, contractual obligations complete. Do whatever you want them out of here.
Golly geez, thanks, Jerry. Jerry Seinfeld, ladies and gentlemen. All right, gearheads, it is time to get to it. And now, here is your host, a man who can commentate with the best of them. Commentator, a man with very little sight, but an amazing amount of insight. The one, the only, Blind Mike Geary!
It's a shame AI isn't perfect yet, because that's a very nice compliment from Tom Myers, but it just gets jumbled up because these robots are dumb, you know?
If only he was a real guy.
Yeah, it's a shame. I gotta say, I was just listening to the Unnamed show right before we started. Spoiler alert, folks, we're not live. But I had the Unnamed show on, and I realized, if I ever want to extend an olive branch to Dave Portnoy, I think I know how to do it now, if we want to get him on this show. Between maybe like a Coach HP segment and a Richard O. Jetta segment, we got to start doing Coleman segments, I think. He's obsessed with Coleman. It's crazy. He knew Coleman clips that I've never heard. He's bringing up like a game show that Coleman hosted, and there's a clip of Coleman like reflecting on his career. I'm extending it right now. If Dave Portnoy will do a Coleman breakdown show on the KMS network with me, I'm in.
I think we need that. Definitely.
I think it'd be a lot of fun because there's a lot of Coleman footage out there for some reason. It's crazy.
So much.
Well, he's an example of a young guy. It's interesting. Like, he's an example of why you shouldn't record your life when you're young, you know?
Yeah.
For some people, it would be, rampant drug use or thinking things are funny that don't hold up over time. Coleman, it's just, he doesn't know who he is yet, And that's what a lot of people are a victim of, but we didn't have a camera in our face.
As bad as it was, like the one when he was like talking about George Floyd.
That's great.
Yeah, but
our black brothers and sisters.
Yeah, but I'm also like, he was on a college campus during that.
Yeah,
wasn't he? It's
yeah,
like,
sure. We can all understand it. Everyone can sympathize, but it's just fun to watch.
It's very fun to watch.
All right, no, we don't have any family drama this week. I don't think, do we?
No,
it's good. Everyone's simpatico.
That's right.
We're all back together again. It's very nice. I will an in-house announcement here that I will make. I guess I already made it on Why You Laughing, but for the rest of you, it'll be out this week. Why You Laughing will be members only for the next few weeks. So basically, we're taking a few weeks to pre-record a bunch of episodes and get ahead of them because I want to do some episodes that take a little longer. I have a top 100 list we're doing. I want to do Cosby. I think I decided our first 3 episodes back, probably in August, I would think. I'm not exactly sure. But our first 3 episodes back will probably be Cosby, the downfall of Howard Stern, and the history of Opie and Anthony. So that'll be a treat for the people on Patreon. You'll get it early if you're a Patreon or YouTube member. So look forward to that. But yeah, just so you guys know, if you freeloaders out there, if you're a Why You Laughing fan, there will be a brief hiatus. But if you want bonus episodes and episodes that'll be out further down the road, then those will go up for Patreon and YouTube members. So make sure you subscribe. Oh, Craig, by the way, what did you do that annoyed me yesterday?
I interrupted a thought.
Interrupted a thought. That's par for the course.
Oh,
this fucking bull in a china shop.
Am I aware of this one?
I thought it would be funny. To do an episode about Cosby and end it essentially like end our timeline in like 2014 and say like, I've seen that Cosby's been up to some stuff since then. We're going to look into it and maybe do a part 2 at some point. I thought that would be kind of a fun little bit. Just cover, Cosby while he was America's dad. And so I mentioned like we might do a Cosby episode, and Craig goes, you should not cover the rapes. And you just hear me go, yeah, maybe.
Only we weren't live, we could have edited it out.
So I guess no, it stays.
It's there.
There is. Craig really is. I was trying to think of a better example than a bull in a china shop, but that is really the best metaphor for what he is.
Yeah, for that one, it was pretty accurate. I can't even argue it.
All right. Yeah, go to blindmike.net, guys. If you want to support this show, if you want the Why You Laughing, while it's on break, you'll still get Why You Laughing if you're a Patreon or YouTube member. So make sure you look for that, as well as early access and bonus content. Subscribe, become a Patreon or YouTube member, or just support the show for free wherever you get podcasts, and especially on YouTube. All your likes, comments, if you subscribe, if you share it, all that helps people find the show. So make sure you do that if you think this is a show or Why You Laughing that more people should find, then help us out. Like, comment, all that good stuff. And like I said, while you're waiting for Why You Laughing episodes to come out, I think you should check the Patreon for more episodes. But if you'd rather wait, then there's episodes you haven't checked out yet, then go through the archives. Because, the Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks episodes, stuff like that, the older guys, they don't have the same views that a lot of the others do, but I find them to be just as interesting. So I think if you're a comedy fan, you will like those deep dives. So consider checking those out. While Why You Laughing is on pause for the freeloaders.
The Three Stooges episode still stands out to me. It's one of my favorites.
That's a great one. Jackie Gleason, the one story about his dad alone to me is one of my favorite stories ever. So go back and check those out through the years of Why You Laughing. And Blind Mike Project will continue to be every Sunday at 10 a.m. So make sure you check us out live. Or preview. Or pretending to be live, whatever works. It is funny. Sometimes I'll pop into the chat when we're not live, just to see, what the scuttlebutt is. And sometimes I'll see people like, "Oh, this one's not even live," and I'm like, "What's the difference?"
Makes no difference. We just don't.
I really don't get that. It's not a sporting event. We're talking about the same shit.
My favorite is that people like start arguing if it's live or not. In the corner, it'll say preview or live.
Well, that's how you know, folks.
Not preview. What is it?
Well, let's spend 40 minutes on it.
Premiere. There we go.
Jesus. All right. Let's get into it today. We got a lot to discuss. I'm particularly excited for the Boogie segment. I've heard a lot of people say they liked our original coverage of Boogie, the Suge Knight story and everything. I don't want to overhype it. I think we've beat it this week.
I haven't listened to it yet.
I think the character has become the man.
Great.
I was in stunned disbelief watching it. Really, there's a couple things. There's that and a GD Fenderson clip we have today that made me stop in my tracks. So I'm excited to get to those. But I want to start with the Opester. Because Opie, we know here he's a massive influence on our friend David Collins. I think he's David Collins' favorite broadcaster. Both of them have been doing it since they were 18. So, we could learn a thing or two from Opie. And he has implemented something in his show that harkens back to the old days of Opie and Anthony. Now, you might remember Opie and Anthony were great with the soundboard. When there was particularly like when there was a guest on hold that they were fucking with, they would play a lot of tremendous drops. It might have been like Joe Piscopo, or I forget who it was exactly. But someone they were fucking with by just playing sound drops, and the guy couldn't tell if they were there or whatever. And finally, when they hang up, Jim Norton says, there's a lot of people in radio that are more talented than the two of you, but there's nobody better at doing that. So they were great with the soundboard. A staple of the Opie and Anthony show. Well, good news for you fans of Opie. It's back. And it is impossible. It is impossible to miss.
Called a co-host, maybe.
Yeah, so it's not Opie running the soundboard, right?
No, it's one of the drunks from the bar, and I'm not joking. It's one of those guys.
Yeah, it's not Opie, and it's not Mark, the owner of Gepard's, who seems to be like his co-host.
Yeah, whose wife's been pregnant for like 6 years.
Yeah, last time we talked about... Yeah, you're right. It has been a while. Last time we talked about Opie, we zeroed in on Mark because we were like, oh, he's doing a show with Chip Chipperson.
Right.
Now, Mark is a bright spot in the broadcast. We hadn't talked about Opie in a little while. I said, let me check in on what Opie's doing. Literally, the first 10 minutes, I had to pause this timestamp 15 times.
I was just gonna say, everyone that's listening to this segment, know this is the first 10 minutes of this episode. This whole thing.
It's crazy. I didn't need any more. I was like, well, we got enough for an Opie segment, I guess. Because this is wild, and you can tell even Opie's like, oh boy. But well, let's get into it. All right, So this is the new soundboard on Opie's show. Let's hear it.
Good afternoon. We are live in New York City at a fine little establishment called Get Parts. And this is my buddy Matt. He owns the place. You should know this by now, right?
Matt.
You should know this by now. Hello. And we got Mike Bergen Jr. here.
Hold on, go back.
Because
I got to say, the audio quality is great.
Tell him, let me save him.
What I would say to Opie is stand a little further away from the mic if you could, because it's not echoey enough, I don't think.
I'm almost positive he's just got a laptop open and using that.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. So that's why I want you to go back a little bit, because a drop is already played. You can barely hear it, but it's effective in its comedic timing, at least.
It legitimately sounds like a city bus driving by and they have a window open.
This is terrible. This is what, if you're talking about comedy radio shows, we always say this. I try not to overhype what Opie and Anthony are, because they mean a lot to me. I've listened to them a lot. But I try not to overhype them. But if you're talking about comedy radio shows, Howard, clear front runner by a mile. But number 2, I think, undisputed, would be Opie and Anthony.
Right.
And this is what the host of that show is doing now.
Get Parts. And this is my buddy Matt. He owns the place. You should know this by now, right? You should know this by now. Hello. And we got Mike Bergen Jr. here with his sound machine. I don't know if anyone heard your sound. Yeah, give me a sound.
Okay, now this is, you got to kind of feel bad for Mike Bergen Jr. because clearly he's mentally unwell. You know?
Yeah.
This is clearly a retarded man. You know? Like, I don't blame him. I blame whoever put the soundboard in front of him and allowed this to be recorded.
It's a good idea.
Okay, so this sound effect, the first sound effect was clapping that you couldn't hear. Then Opie says, hey, people couldn't hear that. Let's hear another drop, which is always a good instinct. People couldn't hear the first one, so play another. And this one is just a guy clapping, which I don't think we didn't even need a soundboard. That's pretty good, right?
It sounded honestly like a dude putting like shelving together in the other room, like just with a hammer.
What situation when you're putting together, Craig, you know, you have a boogie board at your disposal.
I do.
When you're putting together a soundboard, what would be the call for this? Like if this sound came to you and you were like, oh, Mike could really use this when?
I'm trying to think of what comes on.
That's good.
That's pretty good. It doesn't end.
It's good.
So it's a good ego boost.
That's important. Well, these are all already better than Mike Bergen's soundboard because they're not sounds that Craig could make just on his own.
I think all I got is like,
hey, it's BooG.
That's what we need, yeah.
I told him, I said, don't do a kiddie porn.
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Hitler
all very relevant to this show.
was one of the best people to have ever been.
Sorry, I didn't hear that one. What was that, Richard?
Hitler was one of the best people to have ever been on this earth.
I don't think that's...
I forgot about that.
I don't think that's accurate. Is there any more, Jenna?
No, I forgot that one even existed.
Can you drop that in later in the show? Just don't tell me when.
Okay. I forgot that one exists. That's very funny.
Let's go back to
with his Patreon.
Oh, thank you. Let's go back to the Obster.
That's terrible.
Is that our fan?
Our one fan is clapping right now. That's awesome.
Okay, that was
Opie almost had an honest moment where he goes, "That's terrible," and then he realizes, like, I can't admit to these people on Facebook that it's terrible. The 6 people watching my live stream, I can't admit it's terrible. So he goes, "That's awesome."
Now, this next clip, it's the second clip in the first 10 minutes. I think there's legitimately at least 15 clips here, something like that.
Yep.
You already have this titled Overuse.
Yeah. Oh, immediately. This is, 30 seconds in. Like, he's already played the clapping, the different versions of clapping. And Opie has kind of subtly hinted by saying it's terrible. It's a very subtle hint of like, hey, maybe lay off the soundboard. So this is Mike Bergen's instinct.
It's my anniversary. Well, me and my wife, not just mine.
Oh, I thought it was our anniversary.
No,
when's our anniversary?
We
Matt?
don't have one, you idiot.
Hold on. Like, what? I can't even focus on the terrible banter between Opie and Matt. If Opie is like, hey, completely distract from the horse shit coming out of our mouths, mission accomplished.
Right.
Because I can't even listen to the terrible chemistry that they have and how horrible Matt is as a co-host. Because I'm listening, they're talking about Matt has to take time off from the podcast that pays him no money because his wife is going into labor soon.
Yep.
Which, like, that's perfectly fine. But if you have kids in general, I don't think you need to be hanging out with Opie, you know?
No. And
But the sound effect was...
a beer getting filled up
Why?
in a bar where you could just authentically do it again.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's true, too. All the sound effects are things he could just do close to the mic.
Yeah.
When's our anniversary?
We
Matt?
don't have one, you idiot.
Nice. This really adds to the experience.
We gotta
There should be. Listen, I'm not a producer. I like radio and I like podcasts. Speaking of Coleman's very good at this. I'll ask him.
Very good at the drops.
Yeah. Maybe I can ask Coleman. When Matt calls Opie an idiot, when Opie says, when's our anniversary? And Matt says, we don't have one, you idiot. Classic banter.
Mm-hmm.
What does the beer pouring add to that conversation?
How's that hit you?
Thank you, Jimmy.
I have no idea. I don't know when I would ever use that. Like, even the sound effects that come on this board I wouldn't use because they're on here because it's like hack basically sounds.
You mean like the preloaded?
Yeah, like
But that guy's not even doing that. He's like, hey, here's this. We're in a bar, so on my soundboard, I should have a beer being poured.
actually that drop I just played makes more sense. Like, we don't have an anniversary, idiot. Makes more sense than
Way more. Way more.
We gotta shut that one up right quick.
Wow. All right.
See, like, Opie's getting, he's like, gee, this is, again, I can't reiterate this enough. This is 35, 40 seconds into the episode.
Yes.
Now, Matt says, we don't have an anniversary, you idiot. And Opie's like, you called me an idiot. Then he plays like they're fighting, like they're laughing. And I guess he plays the, like, let's get it on sound.
Yes. It's too much. It makes no sense. And it's overused drops from the history of time.
I got news for you guys. This is going to be very repetitive because we've got about 40 more clips that show this asshole wedging drops in where they do not belong.
And I admitted before the show that I found myself wanting to listen longer.
I think the description of this show is something dumb that I came up with like before the show even started.
Mm-hmm.
We should change the name to I had to listen to this, so now you have to.
Yeah.
Like, I had to experience this.
That should be the
And
name
now
of the
I'm
show.
making all of you sit through it.
It should just be the name of the show at this point.
Yeah.
But they talk more about their anniversary.
Okay.
Happy anniversary. What,
Thanks.
Of meeting your wife or
Getting married.
getting married?
Yeah, I think I met her and then we got married the next day.
Oh, damn.
Well,
Come on, Kitten, I won't tell anyone.
Congratulations.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on. Now that, for those of you that were wondering, is just an inscrutable drop.
I couldn't even make out what it was.
Just a completely inaudible, like if I wasn't aware this Matt Bergen guy was pushing these buttons, I would think like they were being abducted, like someone was taking over their airwaves or something.
Someone at the bar was trying to just talk to them.
Yeah, it's inaudible. It's crazy.
what's up? Not much. Well, no, there's a lot that's up.
hey, John.
There's a lot that's up. So how many years have you been married? I don't even
4
know.
years.
Oh, you're up to 4 years.
Up to.
I thought, okay,
With.
I thought you were married for 2.
Oh, I like this, by the way.
Millie.
This is where I was in the brief spurts between sound drops. I was able to hear the conversation. And this is where two guys that are supposedly have been like good friends for a while. Opie's been going to this bar since he started the podcast.
Yes.
And Opie's going to debate with him. Go back a little bit. Because Opie's going to debate with him how long he's been married.
I will defend Opie here. It almost
Please.
sounds like he's looking over his shoulder expecting a drop to just happen.
Well, Opie's living scared.
Yes.
He's like, I can't start a conversation here. 'Cause this fucker's going to come in with Bart Simpson or something.
Up to.
I thought, okay,
With.
I thought you were married for 2.
Nope.
And Millie's 2.
Millie's 2 and change, so that would have been
Well, there's
wrong.
Well, I don't know. People are doing that all the time, having kids out of wedlock.
Just useless. Utterly useless. It's an old Adam Sandler drop. It's just completely, it's been done to death on every radio show. Like it has nothing to do with what Opie or Matt are saying. And you're stepping on, like, Opie for some reason has decided to argue with this man about how long he's been married. He's trying to find flaws, and he's like, well, your daughter's only 2. And Matt's like, yep.
Yeah, and
And instead, Mike Bergen decides to step on that with just a crude, ham-handed Adam Sandler drop from 30 years ago.
fourth clip in, it's called Just Distracting.
Again, I would ask Mike, like, who is the... because the Sandler drop is, ha, 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 shut up. Is the shut up to Opie or Matt? Like, you can't even tell why he's playing it.
If you're using context, I would probably lean that it's towards Opie, like, hey, you're wrong. But there's no way.
I guess. But yeah, he wouldn't question the boss like that, I don't think.
Matt might have to leave any moment because basically,
I'm waiting for the call.
basically your wife had a procedure today. She had it.
Am I crazy? That's not a... What is that?
That was a clock. Like, time's coming.
You know what? At least it applies because Opie's saying his time is almost up.
I didn't catch that one the first time I listened to this.
It's just completely distracting. Listen to how long this goes on for.
Matt might have to leave any moment because basically,
I'm waiting for the call.
basically your wife had a procedure today. She had a.
It's called a membrane swipe, but basically
A membrane swipe.
Yeah, it's the layperson would refer to it
Oh
as
my
finger bang.
It's crazy. It's mind numbing. You know what this is? It's somehow Craig he's like, hey, I've got my kid for the day, and he's on the soundboard.
Exactly.
And for some reason, I'm all right with it. I don't know why. Just play along for this scenario. Because the way Opie's behaving is how I would, where I'm like, well, I can't yell at this fucking kid. So I guess I'm just gonna have to power through this for some reason, and then like lose my mind next week. I don't know.
We might have to do that for an episode. Just get someone random in with the soundboard.
Have a child just lay on the soundboard.
Just literally don't pretend we're not even here. Just it is.
Listen to how long this goes. It's crazy.
Wait, the doctor got in there?
Got right up in there. So basically, you go in, and then
Some relief.
it goes around the baby's head to swipe the membrane, and then
Oh my God!
Just absolutely no charm to it or anything.
Well,
There's no. no subtlety. It's just things we've heard a million times, and it's the worst drops are the loudest. Like the ones that actually get in the way of what the people are saying are the loudest.
Yeah. That's too funny.
Whereas the clock ticking just lingers in the background.
Next clip is even Opie hates it.
You could already tell that Opie's kind of annoyed, but this is where he's like, I got to give credit. Maybe Opie has grown over the years, because we would have heard him if this was fucking E-Rock or something. He would have lost his mind.
Yeah.
And then everyone laughed and laughed because it's induced, but I said reduced. But then someone
you can reduce your size.
Yeah, that's what someone said. They're like, well, technically,
Opie, by the way, just so you have context of the segment, not that you need it. Opie's saying that in his Facebook group, he said, Matt's baby is going to be induced soon. And people were like, or reduced, he said. And people were like, do you mean induced? Like his wife is going to be induced? Labor is going to be induced? And Opie's like, got you guys. And I think everyone in the Facebook group was like, okay, Opie. Nice.
Got us again.
You got us. For a second, we thought you were really dumb. You got us.
For that one, huh?
Yeah. Well, not Jennifer Purr. She didn't let it go. She laughed in my face for the next half hour.
She was drinking hot champagne. She's having a good old time.
She was drinking the hot.
Yeah, you're a liar.
She was drinking the hot champagne.
What was that?
Did you hear Opie?
Go back. I want to hear it again. But what was the sound?
I have no idea.
It's noise. Literally, this guy is making noise. Now, I kind of got to give him credit because once you start listening to the conversation,
yeah,
we would probably be saying, "Hey, anything to distract from this," you know.
I said they're running scared though, for real.
Yeah.
Drinking hot champagne. She's having a good old time.
She was drinking the hot.
Yeah, you're a liar.
She was drinking the hot champagne.
No,
is the sound machine a little loud? I don't know. As long as it sounds all right on the live stream, I don't care. But it's blasting in my left ear.
What's up, John?
Opie, good news. It sounds perfect. It sounds. I'll tell you what it sounds like, Opie. And that's that Mike Bergen knows exactly what he's doing. It's not getting in the way of the terrible show at all.
I don't know if you've ever watched like a paranormal show where they go to haunted locations and they get recordings of ghosts.
Sure. Okay.
But that drop they just played sound like one of those ones they hear and they're like, what do you guys think they're saying?
Oh, yes, you're right. It's one of those shows where they'd be like, see, now tell me that's not a ghost.
Exactly.
And it's like, what do you mean? It could be anything.
It could be fucking anything.
You're going to tell me that noise just happens? It's like, possibly? Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
So that was him talking about the soundboard being too loud. Now it's too low.
Oh, God forbid. So this is what this guy probably did in a panic move. He's like, well, I've got the solution. You think it's too loud.
But the reason I panicked was because I was thinking, oh my God, I am really, really tired already. And I need to be there for my wife. That's what I was really thinking. But it came out this way. How long is this going to take? And they turn around like, you got shit to do? You monster.
Are you going to date tonight?
Well, I didn't want it to happen in like the middle of the night when I had the sleepies, you know?
2 hours later.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what this idiot did. He plays it once. He plays the SpongeBob 2 hours later drop.
No one
Again, SpongeBob, perfect drop to have on a show for a 60-year-old man.
Yes.
So he plays it and no one can hear it, but he says, I gotta fit this gold in here. No matter how many times I just have to smash the fucking soundboard to get it in. I gotta keep turning it up until someone hears the hilarity that I'm providing with a hack bit that has been done on social media, I don't know, 40 million times in the last few years.
Now, this next one is my favorite.
Please.
You just labeled this one fresh.
Oh, well, that's what I like about the soundboard, is that they're all very new. Like, it's not something that Morning Zoo Radio did 30, 40 years ago, you know?
Now,
she's just waiting. Yeah, she's resting and waiting.
So the odds are you're going to have a son this week.
The odds are actually.
Yeah, baby.
We'll have a son before the end of the day tomorrow.
Go back. I need to hear it again.
She's just waiting. Yeah, she's resting and waiting.
So the odds are you're going to have a son this week.
The The odds are actually
Yeah, baby.
that we'll have a son before the end of the day tomorrow.
Beer.
Do you think Opie was like, hey, he heard the Adam Sandler drop, and he's like, I'm worried the kids won't like that. Like, you know, it's a little old sounding. Do you have anything a little more shagadelic? He's got a fucking Austin Powers drop, and listen, often those drops are timeless. You know what I mean? Like Homer has been a part of radio soundboards for many, many years now.
The Homer Boo classic.
Sure, absolutely. There's a time and a place for them. And I would say whatever conversation these two idiots are having about Matt having his baby, beer certainly doesn't apply.
I mean, he could be like, you know,
He's like, I'm in a bar. I need a beer sound effect.
or he's like, you're gonna have a kid, dude. You're gonna just be like, I need a beer.
Oh, totally, man.
Just get me out of here.
Dad, being a dad, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, baby. Do I make you horny?
Oh, the titles are fantastic. This next clip is called "It's Only Been 5 Minutes."
Oh, yeah. Guys, if you think, hey, listen, Mike went in and cherry picked the 5 drops he hated, it's probably not that bad. It has been less time than we've been talking about it.
Correct.
It's been 5 minutes of this.
All right, we're all money collected today will go to Matt's diaper fund.
No, we already have the diapers coming. For what? For Ginny.
See, all right, so that I don't get because that's the sound effect from Mario when he gets bigger after a power up.
Well, I guess he needs money, but even if it, let's pretend it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
What I'm trying to get across here is it's been 5 minutes of a 1 hour show. And I haven't even included every time he hit the drop.
No.
I mean, we've heard, what, 30? 30 sound effects in 5 minutes?
Something like that.
All right, we're all money collected today will go to Matt's diaper fund.
No, we already have the diapers coming. And need it for what? For Ginny's sushi dinner or something because she hasn't been able to eat what she wants. Sushi. She wants sushi. First meal.
After the baby?
After the baby's out.
Oh.
Here's some raw fish.
Oh, all right.
I ain't having that.
I like
Wait,
that.
what was that one?
I don't know.
That was so low. It was like a baby voice, but you can't hear it.
That's right.
Why is the audio so different for different drops?
I don't know. I guess they could be because I usually go in when I make a drop and I'll make roughly the sound. I'll peak at the same spot,
It's very unsettling.
so that doesn't happen.
Let me hear the Ojeda one again.
No. I thought you wanted random.
I did, but I can't wait any longer.
Hitler was one of the best people to have ever been on this earth.
Now that's pristine quality. That's how you hit a drop.
What?
And it's timeless. You can shoehorn it in anywhere.
I'm going to push back a little bit.
Thank you, Boogie. We'll hear from you later. I saw him today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you believe it?
All right.
What's that?
Back to Opie. Back to the pros.
Show comes first is next.
No. Why, dude? I could grab all this equipment. We could set up in a half hour.
I mean, if you're asking me for permission, granted.
He's starting to make me mad.
I promised you last week for the delivery room, right? You should have a kid at the house with the big fucking baby pool.
Because that makes more sense for the show. Yeah.
Yes, of course. You're right. I'm trying to teach you. Show comes first.
I'm working on understanding.
It's so perfect. That is such I'll tell you that finally this guy has perfect timing. Because Opie is trying to convince this man to do a show in the waiting room, the delivery room, whatever, while his baby is being born for a show that no one is watching except for me, losing my mind.
Yeah.
Like this is Opie's still under the delusion he's doing like a big show or something, and he's like, "Hey, show comes first," and then in a perfect moment of showing you exactly where Opie is in his career, he plays and a completely inaudible drop.
Well, that's the thing too, is like listening. I can't tell if it's a drop sometimes or the background noise.
It's I can, because it doesn't make any sense. But you're right. It's like if I didn't know what I was listening to, I'd be like, oh, they're just in a bar. But that would even be another question for Opie, is like, why would you have your show in a place where so much horse shit can be going on in the background?
Well, there's no rhyme or reason for the next one.
Okay.
Good luck, Matt. I hope you and the missus have a healthy baby with no complications.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We got some good people. We got some good people that watch our live streams.
I don't know.
No, I think the
I
people.
never thought I'd get this far.
I think the people.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, none.
He's got to just be hitting them, and like once in a while when they're talking about the baby and he hits "yeah, baby," it makes sense.
Yeah,
but he has to just be hitting them at random.
This is classic. Like it just says drop one, and he forgets what it is.
But again, a drop is great. Maybe for a 1 hour show, I feel like 6 would probably be a lot. Kind of.
Was one of the best people to have ever been on this earth.
There's never too much of that, I guess. But
Or when
typically
Mike-
speaking,
I used to abuse the drop board when Mike Harris was on a very good show.
yes.
Because it would infuriate him, and that was fun.
Well, but I remember having that conversation with you guys where I was like, "It's getting played a lot, and there's no need for it, really." And in a 1 hour show, how many times is this guy playing a clip from a 90s movie going to be funny? Maybe 5, you know, if we're being generous.
This is one of those things that's funny, it's not funny, and then it's funnier. Like one of those classic scenarios.
Oh, it was funny to me every time because it was completely derailing the show.
It's the funniest the show's ever been.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's great.
This next one's called, we have 5 left still.
Holy shit. And I'm telling you, we get through like 12 minutes of the show, I think.
I think it's 11 minutes and 43 seconds. to be
Yeah.
precise.
And the first minute is Opie. This is the thing that a lot of podcasts do that really annoy me.
Read everyone in the chat.
Well, they do that. But no, they play a clip to start the show. Basically, like, here's one of the classic zingers you're going to hear on today's episode.
It was the yeah baby drop.
It was that, yep. It's 2 minutes into the show. So when you hear it, you're like, yeah, no, I remember from a minute ago.
Yes, exactly. This one's called How Long Is This One?
Okay. Oh yeah, this is a clip from the TV show The Office. Now I like The Office, but drops are typically succinct. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to pause the entire conversation to hear them. But Mike has a different approach.
And the baby comes out and literally in the water.
Well, that's cleaner than the other way.
And then it looks like an oil spill.
Jeez. And then who does the sewing?
Who does this?
You got a midwife there, I bet.
Was that a drop, by the way?
I was thinking the same thing. It might have been, yeah.
I'm going to rewind a bit. We'll
I
find
can't
out.
tell. That's the thing. Maybe he's fucking Coppola or something. Like we don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
And then who does the
I
sewing?
think it is a drop.
I think
That's a
that's a
drop,
drop.
right?
That's for sure a drop.
Yeah.
And then who does the sewing?
Who does this?
You got a midwife there, I bet.
Yeah, someone that doesn't even know what they're doing.
That's the last thing you want is another wife in the room.
Stupid. Exactly. Right.
And the middle one? Ugh.
A midwife. That's
Ew.
just dumb.
Oh yeah. Hold on. By the way, I don't want to gloss over this. These two idiots are bombing, but I'm so distracted by the soundboard that I can't even hear it.
This soundboard might be the smartest thing he's ever done, and if this continues, we have to reformat the show.
If it wasn't for the soundboard, I would have played these clips being like, do you see how bad the chemistry between Matt and Opie is? But instead, I'm so fixated on this monkey hitting his keyboard.
A middle one? Ugh.
A midwife. That's just dumb.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Everyone pause for season 6 of The Office.
That's dumb.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, Don? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Everybody calm down. Oh my God. Okay, it's happening.
It's happening. I want.
Opie liked it.
I don't know if he likes it or if he's like, I can't fuck this one up.
He seems mildly annoyed.
Hmm.
But I gotta say, for Opie, he's doing a pretty good job at handling it. Now, I'm sure he threw a temper tantrum off air or something. And to be honest, I didn't even get to the end of the episode. Maybe he snaps on the guy. But
this next one is called One for Craig, and I have a gay soundboard with gay drums.
well, I first of all, I liked. I just liked that they watched an entire episode of The Office. I think that's fun. I think Mike should be like, "Hey, pause for a second. I've got Dexter on DVD, and we're gonna comb through it."
Yeah, this next one is called One for Craig.
Okay, I don't remember what this was.
I do.
Oh, yes, I do.
When my son was born, he was born on Mother's Day. That was pretty badass. That was pretty cool.
We were wondering that was a possibility.
You know what was great about that? I didn't have to do nothing for Mother's Day. Sweet Mother's Day. Here's your gift. Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Right?
I was smart enough to get my Mother's Day cards while I was grocery shopping. So I
forgot all the other. Sometimes I label these after one of the sound effects. I forget there's like 8 others leading up to it.
Well, there was a spit, there was a nice, and then the next one.
Why the spit?
Oh, it's rewinding.
To all the mothers out there, hey, fuck you, Opie's wife.
Gift. Boom.
Boom shakalaka. I was smart enough to get my Mother's Day
Can I
card.
tell you something? If this Mike Bergen guy is doing commentary on the 2 hosts,
He might be
brilliant.
genius. Yeah,
It's brilliant. Yeah. If he's trolling them with the soundboard, then he's doing an amazing job.
I don't think he is. So
I was grocery shopping, so I was done on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. Nothing else left.
I like this.
How was that?
Congratulations on the birth of.
I think that was Little John.
Again, very fresh and topical.
Oh, I like this. Congratulations on the birth of the child. May he be a masculine child, or at least healthy. Very nice.
We're hoping for both.
I got a date tomorrow. I gotta get all ready for my date.
What are you doing? Where are you going?
Well, there's only one other woman.
Who is he?
Hey, you son of a bitch!
I knew Craig would like that one.
Come on, man.
No, man, it's not.
My gay drops are a lot better than that one.
Can you see? Oh, well, first of all, that's his best timed one. We got to give him that.
That's true.
He finally had one that perfectly fit the scenario, whether or not it was funny. But you see Opie get like, Opie has no comedic instinct where he's like, that's not true. All right. And then he just moves on.
Come send the gay police.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
I'm not saying Craig's better than this guy, folks. I just want that known.
I have numerous gay drops, and not that one. That's the classic one.
It's really cool, man.
Ken Jeong, right, from Community, I think.
You're correct. Very good.
What kind of date?
The saying is, it's not gay if you don't push back.
I
Everyone
heard
knows.
you say that a bunch of times.
A bunch of times.
Oh, these guys. This is where Opie was like, man, I don't need Anthony. I've reinvented myself. It's like you're making gay jokes in 2024. You're like, oh, if 2 men go out, that'd be gay.
I don't think
No, we
I don't
got
think
it.
Opie's actually laughed this entire show, but he's laughed the whole time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it not only does it make sense, it's a great way of describing Opie's current iteration. He's constantly laughing, but he hasn't found anything funny in 10 years.
This next one's just called How Many Are There?
It's like the repertoire. That's what I got to give the guy credit for, is just the depth of the well.
Endless.
Yeah, he hasn't repeated one.
No.
Down and I get all nice.
Yeah?
Because it's a
Put a little bow on it.
Well, I have to get fully.
It must be my birthday.
I gotta get fully naked. I gotta get fully naked for my annual exam.
Stop saying that.
Thank you.
And you never know where that skin cancer will be hiding. So she's got to lift up some bags,
Lift some flaps.
The
Gotta
most,
get in there.
losers. The most.
It's just completely void of any tact. There's no method to it. He just lays on that machine and lets them fall as they may.
This next one's called "I'm Mystified."
I truly was.
Hey, look, I'm slim and trim. I've been doing yoga, you bitch. And then the conversation stopped immediately when she opened up the robe, and I'm like, yeah, she clammed up. I'm like, I think I got something going on.
Did it twice.
Hold on. Go back to the beginning. Because I don't want anyone, particularly the audio listeners, you guys can watch on YouTube. We don't have video of this, right? So
No, there's no video.
All of you are technically audio listeners. I don't want anyone to think that a game of ping pong broke out at Gephardt's.
It sure didn't.
Opie was talking about getting a physical exam. And you guys know how gay it is when you have to undress for a male doctor,
That's right. That's nothing really gay in that.
Super gay. So that's what the boys are talking about. And Mike Bergen, in his vast wisdom, says, I have the perfect drop for this scenario.
Hey, look, I'm slim and trim. I've been doing yoga, you bitch. And then the conversation stopped immediately when she opened up the robe, and I'm like, yeah, she clammed up. I'm like, I think I got something going on still.
That's my favorite part, that he hit it again.
I know.
The car crash has been my ringtone for over 15 years. All right.
I don't. Maybe someone in the chat was enjoying the soundboard, or they had the same thought process as me. But that car crash chat that he's reading is someone being like, "Hey, remember when you were good at this, Opie?
Yeah.
It's been 15 years since then."
This is the last one.
Oh, holy shit!
It's just labeled timing.
Well, that's the main thing. Is his timing has been impeccable on these. He hasn't gotten in the way of the conversation. They always, a lot of comedy is timing. So they always hit you at the perfect time to get a laugh.
I don't like saying fans anymore. I like saying supporters. He's a supporter of mine, and his job is he does camera work for the PGA.
That's pretty cool.
That's badass, right?
He's got to shut up all the time, though, right?
Okay, terrific.
And who's on your shuttle bus? You got any of the stars?
Window lickers.
You got Rory McIlroy. Is he on the bus with you?
Window lickers. What was that drop? It doesn't apply at all.
I'm late for the party. Best to you and your family, Matt, for a healthy one. Yeah, man. This is like,
Thanks, Vincent.
this is Matt's kind of pre-baby party.
That's right. Pretty shitty party.
We're having a party. Me, you,
You know, I'm going to Canadian beers and liven things up a bit.
me, you, and Mike.
It's you know what it is? It's, remember the episode of Sunny where D. Reynolds gets a soundboard?
Yes.
And you're just playing like lasers and random horse shit. And then eventually, I believe in that episode, Dennis is like, you know what, I do like that one. And that's, I think, what Opie is dealing with. For a while, it annoyed him. And now he's like, you know what? I am gay. Just play that. Keep playing it.
Also, I'm gay.
See?
That was
it.
That was
From the
Opie.
Opster?
Yep.
Can I hear Ojeda once more before we move on?
Sure can.
Hitler was one of the best people to have ever been on this earth.
That's out of context. I gotta defend my guy Richard, just so everyone knows.
Can't defend that though.
It's out of context. All right. Well, yeah, Opie has been. I don't know what he's doing, but you're right. He has played it right in that if he's distracting from the show, then he's done a tremendous job, because I couldn't focus on anything else other than the soundboard.
Nothing else.
That's, again, I have to reiterate, that's in a 12-minute span. That amount of those drops and more were played in 12 minutes.
A lot more. Actually.
All right. Now let's check in on another gentleman we haven't checked in on a few weeks. The Congratulations podcast popped up in my algorithm. And I said, let's give this a whirl. And Chris D'Elia, I don't even blame him. Here's the difference between like Chris D'Elia and someone like Opie, who we just talked about. Opie has been exposed like, oh, he was not a great broadcaster. He was carried by Anthony and Jim.
Yep.
I don't even think that's the case with D'Elia. I think this is just like the madness. I think if you put anyone in a room alone like this, and they just had to talk to themselves, like Burr used to be great at it, and then over the years just kind of it was the same sort of, you kind of knew the talking points he had and everything. Very few people are great at just sitting in a room and riffing. And that's what D'Elia has made his podcast. It's just him and a microphone. And so you get stuff like we're about to hear.
Going to Australia. Got the passports. I have a passport and my wife has a passport, but my sons don't. And my sons are 4 and 1 and they have to get their passports. And it's so funny. Their little pictures on it, especially Billy's. It's like, it's got no business being a passport or getting a passport, Like, hey, it's him. Hey, this is him, dude. You don't need a passport. This is just the baby. So let's just bring him in. We're going to bring him in the country. It's going to be fine. He's just going to do pretty much he's going to just pretty much eat and poop and sleep and cry. Just like kind of like his dad, honestly. But his dad does need a passport because he's 44 and Billy's 1. So he doesn't need a passport. So just let me bring this baby in, huh?
Like, these are thoughts you don't need to have out loud, Like, I get when you're getting a passport for a baby, you're like, oh, this is crazy. What do they think he's a terrorist? Come on. But there are reasons you need to document a human being traveling between countries. I like the idea that Chris D'Elia is advocating for underage trafficking of individuals.
Oh, shit.
Like, Chris D'Elia opens his podcast now. That's how much cancel culture doesn't exist, folks. Well, I used to talk about cancel culture till I was blue in the face. And then finally I realized this guy's selling out theaters and he's accused of rape, legitimately. And he starts his podcast with like, can I move kids across the border without paperwork? Come on.
Get off my back, feds.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. They need to know you're not kidnapping the child, I guess. It's silly, but...
The last name needs to match one of the 2 adults that are here.
But this should be a thing where, like, maybe you think it. Maybe you say it to your wife, whatever. It's not podcast fodder,
But he is a deep thinker, as we're about to hear.
I mean, the lack of depth in this guy's fucking skull. Listen to this moron.
There was a kid named James when I was a kid. I was in New Jersey in elementary school, and I would say, and one time he was doing swings on the swing set, and apparently he saw. I talked about this before. Apparently he saw some movie the night before because he was like, "Hey, Chris, ask me if I have any ideals," and he would just he said, "Hey, Chris, ask me if I have any ideals," and I said, "Do you have any ideals?" And he says, "Nope, all fresh out ideals," and then jumped off the swing. And that's what he would do. And then he made me do it 5 times. And his name was James. And I remember he had a jacket that was blue. It was too big, dude. Who is that kid?
Hold on a second. I want to hear the great question that he's about to ask. But just listen to the story we just heard. And picture you're hanging with your buddies. Or you're at a party of some kind. Whatever. You're talking to someone. And they go on that rant. About a friend. Oh, it's so crazy. My friend James, he used to say, hey, ask me if I have any ideals. And I would be like, do you have any ideals? And he would be like, no, I don't have any ideals. And oh my God, that kid was so crazy. He would do the craziest stuff. And then the guy gets done with that rant. Do you have any response other than, nice, man. Anyways, I got to get going.
Oh, actually, I don't have time.
It's an insane rant to go on that no one would give a fuck about. I can't imagine. Never mind thousands of people. That's the thing is like, I see people on like the Fighter and the Kid subreddit make fun of these guys because their numbers are down. I have the exact opposite thought where I'm like, 40,000 people watch this. What to what end? They can't all be to mock him. Some people must be enjoying this, and I can't figure out why.
Some movie the night before because he was like, hey, Chris, ask me if I have any ideals. And he would just he said, "Hey, Chris, ask me if I have any ideals." And I said, "Do you have any ideals?"
Terrible story.
"Oh, all fresh out ideals," and then jumped off the swing. That's what he would do. And then he made me do it 5 times. And his name was James. And I remember he had a jacket that was blue. It was too big, dude. Who is that kid now? You know, who do people grow up to be? You know?
Yeah, man.
God, that's crazy.
Fucking nuts.
People out
Oh, that's nuts, man. What is life, anyways, man? What if none of this is? What if we're living in a fucking simulation, brother?
Do you have any friends from elementary school still?
I do. Yeah, I'm going away with one this weekend.
So do I.
Record on Sunday. Yeah.
So do I. Not that crazy. And he's like, wonder what that kid's up to. Like,
my buddy Joe, who I'm going away with, and when we were young, I mean, this is fucking wild. Get ready for your mind. I hope you're wearing a hat today, Craig.
I'm wearing a hat
because it better secure your mind so it's not blown out the back. This kid used to wear a Jeff Gordon jacket when we were in like 5th grade.
Oh man!
And now he's got a wife and a kid.
If I had the board up, I would have hit a gay drop. Jeff Gordon sucks.
It's fucking banana. That guy grew up and has a life now. Also, he told the most uninteresting story. Hey, this kid James, he wore a blue coat and would say shit that kids would say. Can you believe that guy's a fucking adult now, man?
Yeah, I had
yes, Chris.
My friend Matt in elementary school said he was gonna. He wore a camouflage jacket and said he was gonna grow up to be in special forces, and he did.
I use this phrase a lot, but I want you to understand. I mean it literally. Get the fuck out. Stand up and walk. Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts.
You knew someone who grew up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he did not stay the same age.
That's all of this, by the way, is subtly Chris being like, I wish kids never grew up. I would just wish every adult was a child, you know? There's nothing a psychologist would find odd about that.
Out there somewhere, not many of them died. Some of them did. A lot of them did because of the sheer volume, but the percentage of them are just alive and just around, you know?
Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, Chris.
Wow.
People exist. This is like, and you know what? I gotta say, this is where maybe some sort of mental testing or something should be done, because is it wrong that Chris was talking to girls who may have been underage or borderline? Sure. Is it creepy? Absolutely. But if you're talking about mental capacity, is that who he belongs with? 15-year-olds.
All the middle schoolers out there, if you're looking to get in Chris's pants, just tell him you got a great ideal and you're his.
Oh my God. Just like James with a blue coat.
Come here, I'll buy you a chocolate milk.
But that is like if Chris said this to a 15-year-old and was like, hey man, you know all the kids you know now, they're going to be moms and dads soon. That kid might be like, holy shit, I never thought, you're fucking crazy, man.
Are you serious?
How are you doing this? You're a deep guy. So I get why that's who Chris fraternizes with, because they're the only people on the planet who could possibly find this horseshit interesting.
Well, let's let him tell us about being famous.
All right, good.
Kind of, it's when you get to a certain level of fame, it's not gay or straight. You just kind of kiss, you know? You just kind of kiss. And you don't really think about if it's a man or a woman. You just go, hey, what's up? And they stroke sometimes. They don't care. They don't care. You know, they're just 30. They're just 30 and so famous and just kiss, dude. They just kiss. They don't give, and they're like, oh yeah, he was a guy. I forgot. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. Who cares? Stroke, squirt. And
see, he is a child. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not advocating for any laws to be passed or anything, but maybe let's give the guy a little leeway now that we think about it, because he is like a 12-year-old, you know?
Well, he's about to tell you. I mean, we heard about his friend from elementary school.
Well, just one more thing on that, though. I wanted to say is that he's like, listen, gay, straight, people just kiss. All this is subtext for what he's like, gay, straight, 20, 16, people just fucking, you know, they swap fluids. What's the big deal, man?
Golly, like, what a homo.
I guess.
Aaron Hernandez documentary. Shout out.
Oh, okay, nice.
So we heard about his elementary school friends. What about
Yeah.
Bill from high school?
Oh man, when you hear about this son of a gun Bill from high school, but listen to the decorum that Chris was able to handle this situation with.
I didn't really know about him too much, but he was a bully, and I remember he had a girlfriend, and then she broke up with him, and then we started dating, and he got real mad at me, and I thought he was gonna beat me up, and whatever, dude. He never did though.
Cool at the gym.
Hold on, yeah. All this is by just him being like, so I was the fucking man, like all the chicks wanted me, and like they would leave their boyfriends for me, and it's not even really a big deal. Like I don't get why do you guys care about it so much? Why do you keep asking me? It's like, I don't know, Chris, you brought it up, man.
This is your solo show.
If it's not a big deal, why are you talking to me about it? I don't know Bill from high school. I certainly didn't ask about him.
He never did though. And there's still time, I guess. But also he did break into my car later that week and threw all the stuff around it in my Suburban. And I was like, I don't really care. It's my mom's car,
Okay, so not your car.
This sounds made up anyway. It's like he's thinking of what to say.
It does sound like that, but let's pretend it's real for a moment. I didn't even care. It's my mom's car. What a sweet guy. What a guy that really takes other people into consideration,
He seems like the kind of wealthy guy that like wouldn't help his parents out.
Oh no, he obviously he didn't give a fuck. He's like, fuck, mom, shut up. Like, you guys could just buy another car. Who gives a shit?
He could pay them back for the life that they, gave him. But he'd be like, remember that time with the Suburban? Fuck you, mom.
Fucking Bill, right, Ma?
Like,
he still hasn't beat me up though.
Broke in your car and threw all the shit, and he used my gas card or my dad's gas card, I guess, in like Simi Valley.
Mom didn't have a job.
His tank, and like we just canceled it, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" And I was just like, "I don't really care."
Sweet guy
with his chick. I don't really care, man.
Yeah, this guy robbed my family, but what do I care?
I don't care. That's fucking.
I was just being rad.
You know what's gay as hell? Caring.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why Chris didn't think of this though. Bill from high school, probably an adult now, probably the same age as James from middle school. That's what's really fucking nuts.
I miss James.
Well, we all do.
But so hear what he has to say about TV intros, Mike.
Oh yeah, he goes. So I just had on KMS today, as we record this, Clemmer and Kirk were having a lovely discussion about the movie industry and where it's headed and things. This is what that conversation would have sounded like if Kirk on his way into the studio was hit by a bus, but still managed to crawl into the studio. He would have had a similar take to the dreck that Chris is about to spill on to the microphone.
You know how they do stuff for TV shows? Like they'll make music for the intro. Don't do that. There's so many dope songs out there already. Pick one of those. And pay for it, you cheapskate. You're gonna have to pay for someone to make it anyway. Pay for it. I found out that boom dum dum boom dum. It was already a song. So I'm like, this is how it should always be.
The Sopranos.
There's songs out there. Choose from the catalog. Pick that song, if it's a song that would be on the, WB, like Gilmore Girls, just already picked up closing time, one last call for alcohol, and then not in the night. I know what you, whatever that one is, or if it's a cool ass song, right? Oh no.
Right, he says.
That one, right? That would be cool.
You know how rights work?
I like when he says right, like we're all at home nodding. Yes, Chris. My thoughts exact. We think it and you say it, Chrissy.
You know what the thing is, though? There are people that listen to this when he goes right. They're like, yeah.
Well, that's my thing. Is his thing sounding like he's not like drunk, but like a few beers in? Or maybe like done coke or something, where it's like it's just kind of horse shit talk that you would have under the influence. You know what I mean? Where you're like, fucking TV intros, man. Like, what? Why? The best songs have already been made, brother. Just fucking ride it out, man. Just take a song that's already been written. What do you need a new song for, man? The good ones are already out there.
See, I don't think he's going for drunk sounding, like a couple beers or whatever. I think he's going for legit kindergarten.
Well, that's his demographic, as far as dating goes. But his audience is a little older than that.
Who speaks kindergarten better than him? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, like to everything he says, there's this tone of like he's kind of a valley girl, Crystalia.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really what he is, and that's why he was so popular with girls. I think is because he's a bimbo.
I like my iced coffee.
He's a vapid, thoughtless bimbo.
I don't know what that means.
But you know what's weird is like when he's on the golden hour, he's like the alpha in the room. Like he's kind of the smart guy of the three.
Who's on that show again? Eric Griffin.
Griffin and Brendan Schaub.
Well, this is gonna be tough to say.
He is the smart guy, right?
He's leaps and bounds the best comic in that room too.
That's what's nuts. Is like, Chris, do that. Surround yourself. Look what I've done here. I'm not a bright man, you know? You surround yourself with certain people. Not you, Craig. And not you, Hackride. The others, I mean.
You need to talk about binge culture now. That wasn't enough. That TV. Let's talk about.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about how it's easy to watch.
He puts the streaming service on its ear right now.
Binge culture, right? Now they're trying to go back to. Oh well, we'll release the first 2 or 3, and then every week we'll release another. So now it's going back to appointment television, which I guess is not. I guess it's not like exactly a appointment television because it's not 7 p.m. on a Wednesday. It comes out. I understand it's just they'll say like, yeah, well, we drop it on Wednesday now. This new show, Dark Matter. I saw the first 2 episodes of Dark Matter, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm hooked, and I can't watch the third one. The third one comes out Wednesday. Just Wednesday you can watch it. So okay, but it is kind of appointment television in a way because it comes out midnight on Wednesday. So I'm not going to sit up and wait for it, so I can watch it anytime on Wednesday. So I guess it's so I
see. This is what bugs me about his cadence here. Is like he thinks it's cute to talk of like a kid who's on a lot of sugar.
Exactly.
You gave your kid one too many soda pops.
He's like the kid in like elementary school that finds the warheads.
Yes. Yeah, it's that you know what, you're exactly right, because it's not quite like a guy on blow or something. It's more a kid who's had a lot of sugar, and he's like, but mom, but the show comes out every Tuesday, but I don't want to wait till Tuesday because I can't, because I've seen the first 2 and I really want to watch it right now.
Actual appointment television, but I'm just like, I waited then until the next Wednesday. And I saw it the next Wednesday, and I already forgot everything, okay? It's been a week, and your boy forgot the whole first 2 episodes. Oh, and they think they're going to be cute with that recap? They think they're going to be cute with the recap.
Hey, man, this is where you'd have to talk to, like, it feels like someone holding a gun on you. You're like, hey, man, no one thought they were being cute. Just a recap to remind you what happened last week. It's not a scheme. It's all going to be cool.
I want to point this out, by the way, for all the sighted people that are watching along right now.
Please.
He's got a Life Rips sign behind him.
Oh, life does rip.
Yep.
Just catchphrase.
8 letters. Each one is a different font.
Oh, that's really cool, man.
There's 2 eyes.
This is the depth of Crystalia, where, like, you know, a 7th grader would look in that and go, fucking awesome.
Exactly. There's 2 eyes. There's an eye in life and an eye in rips. Both are different.
That's pretty wild.
Pretty cool.
That, my friends, is how you know life rips.
I don't even give a fuck. He's like, I don't give a fuck. This guy stole from my family.
I got so many fucking different fonts, I can't even count them, brother.
I don't care about my fonts either, dude. Fuck them.
Here's what you missed. Oh, dude, hey, start it over. Hey, from jump, all of it. Hey, dude, so much shit has happened for the past week. You're going to create binge television and then take it away from us?
They didn't take it away, Chris. Just watch it later, all at once. You know?
Right.
You can watch it every week for the next 8 weeks, or you can wait 8 weeks and watch it in a day. It's not that complicated. No one took anything from you. Except the business.
Well, we talked about TV, talked about binge watching. Where's that all happen? Netflix.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, we had a conversation about this today, but this is as if there was all the perspective was just ripped out of that conversation. And you have left Chris D'Elia's thoughts on it.
And make appointment TV? How about this, dude? Netflix is opening up movie theaters.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yay!
Chris's entire existence is delivery.
Who fucking talks like this, honestly?
Whoever taught him that if you say something different, it's funny, should be shot in the streets.
So, my Twitter, @CraigVGS. If you find what he's about to say funny or you enjoy the way he talks, message me there. And I'm just curious if there's people that exist. I won't out you. I just want to know.
Well, that's the thing is like there have to be, right? But yeah, I guess we just don't know them. So yeah, message to any people out there, because sometimes when we do, particularly Chris D'Elia segments and Brendan Schaub a little bit, but particularly D'Elia, we'll get comments from people that don't know the show that are like, "Oh, these guys are just jealous of Chris D'Elia."
Yeah,
we're looking. No. Let us know. Like if we're missing something, explain it to us. Because just changing the inflection of something, I don't think makes it necessarily funny.
Right. Message me. Let me know. Tell me why. Tell me what I got to look out for, and I won't disclose your name.
Change our minds.
Yes. Just listen to this.
And make appointment TV? How about this, dude? Netflix is opening up movie theaters. Hey. So what then? The last 10 years was just bullshit? You were just trying to get into the theater game? Right? You started saying like, hey, let's just do...
By the way, this is just because he got arrested for his character portrayal in You.
Well, and he had a Netflix movie ripped away from him.
That's right. So that's all this is.
DVDs, we'll just send them over to you. And then, hey, we'll just stream it. Hey, we'll stream it. That's the best part about it is that you don't even have to go to the theater. And then they're like, well, actually, we want to be up for Academy Awards, so we got to release some of this shows and some of the movies in theaters, and that's okay. We'll release some of the movies in theaters, and for like a week. This way, we get the credit for the thing, and we get an Oscar. Idris Elba could get an Oscar nomination.
Who has a problem with this?
Make sure everyone gets it.
This is a straw man argument if I've ever seen one. Like, who is he railing against here?
Big Netflix.
The idea that Netflix is also showing the movies in theaters and on your television? Who's this hurting?
So basically all that's going to happen is so if The Irishman gets made, it gets a theatrical release in the Netflix theaters.
Fucking bullshit guy.
It qualifies for all the awards because they get ripped off sometimes.
Fucking you're telling me that Netflix is getting...
You just peeked and none of that came through.
Fucking Netflix is doing movie theaters.
Okay.
My microphone can't pick up my Chris D'Elia impression.
Your mic's like, you might want to stop doing that.
Thank you.
That chick from The Crown goes, nomination, but and then what? And then what? Well, Martin Scorsese wants to do a Netflix movie. All right, well, we'll release Killers of the Flower Moon into the thing, and now I got to sit at home and wait for the thing, and then I got Netflix. Then I got movies.
You can hear his kids in the background, by the way. Did you notice that? It's the second time I've heard it.
Those aren't his kids.
You can hear it. Listen.
I got to sit at home and wait for the thing, and then I got Netflix. Then I got movies that are out there that you on Netflix, and you can't even see them yet.
It's funny to watch a man have a thought of, do I go be a father or continue this fake rant against Netflix.
Well, judging by the way he talks to his wife and all this shit, he doesn't give a fuck. And he's not raising those kids.
No.
You fucked us, you know? You really did.
No,
that last
you.
rant.
They fucked you, sir.
Us. So don't lump us into this. They didn't digitally replace me with Tignataro.
Same body type.
But that last rant that he went on, where he's like, my nephew, he gets a little out in front of his words sometimes. He has so many thoughts that he can't get out fast enough. And you go, oh, that's cute. Isn't that adorable? And he's like, and then the Netflix did. He's always ranting about Netflix also. He's like, and then Netflix bought a theater, but they have a streaming service, and you could binge on there, but now you can't. And you go, oh, that's cute, because he's a little kid. I think Chris thinks he's adorable. I don't even think he thinks he doesn't think of himself as funny. He's like, I am adorable.
Ooh, maybe after Quincy's done, we do like Chris D'Elia TV shows. But we have to do all of them because they get canceled so quick.
Yeah, they've been scrubbed from existence. I don't think the Workaholics episode exists anymore. Wasn't that taken down?
That got taken down. I don't know. Was it Undateable? I think.
Probably, yeah.
I remember watching that. I think that was, weren't they live? Wasn't that a live sitcom?
I don't think all of them were, but that became their thing. Like, that's why I think they got kind of notoriety, is it was live. Rick Glassman was on that show.
Ever since Pauly Shore shit on him, I've heard his name nonstop.
I like Rick Glassman.
I enjoy the title of this one. It's called "If I Were Single" because it's like I don't think anything fucking changes.
it's crazy. I don't watch every episode of Congratulations with Chris D'Elia. Not even close. But I can only assume this happens in every episode because it just so happens to occur in every one that I turn on.
And outward, I go like this. Well, I want to be a team player. I want to be like a... I tell you what, if everybody wants to watch the first episode of the second season of the Jinx, and I'm the only one who doesn't want to, then that's okay. And they go, let's give it a try. And I go, fuck myself out of that one, didn't I? But I do it inward, right? And the outward is like, yeah, it's all good.
If it's confusing anyone, I want to explain the struggle that he's dealing with. His wife and a guest, someone that I assume listeners of the podcast would know, I'm not familiar with, David or something. His wife and a guest wanted the new season of the Jinx came out. And his wife loved the Jinx when it came out, so she was like, I'd like to watch the new episodes of the Jinx. Seems to be a perfectly reasonable request. Season 1 of the Jinx was great. I didn't watch season 2 because my thought was like, what are they going to add that I don't already know?
He admitted it on a hot mic.
Yeah, like Robert Durst went to prison and died, you know?
Right.
So I didn't watch season 2, but I understand the impulse to want to watch it. And Chris is talking about this like, this fucking bitch has imprisoned me. And now I have to watch the first episode of the Jinx. Now, the agreement that they came to, and can you believe this fucking twat wife of his? The agreement that they came to is, well, we'll watch one episode, just give it a shot, see if we like it. And Chris is like, fine. Fine if I have to.
I guess.
Like,
but I'm not eating my vegetables. Ooh, someone's a bad boy.
I know I'm happy, but like, see, this is the crazy part of me. I just go, if I was single, dude, I'd be watching Good Boy. I'd be in the middle of Good Boy right now. I'd be in the middle of the movie. Like, you know, people are like, man, if I was single, you know how much pussy I'd get. Dude.
What's that accent?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I'll tell you who it's not, and that's Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia is not a guy who says, if I was single, do you know how much pussy I'd get? Because a wedding ring meant nothing to him.
If I was
what a completely non-self-aware point to make on your podcast.
No shit.
People are like, man, if I was single, you know how much pussy I'd get. Dude, hey, if I was single, do you know how many movies I want to watch? I would watch. and I
Jesus
already watched
Christ.
whatever I want to watch. You know,
Fuck.
I kind of like try to bully whoever's around me into watching what I want to watch.
So he went to say, I go to bully. He went to say my wife and then stopped himself
Yep.
and said, whoever's around me.
Well, definitely not my wife, but just whoever's around me.
Watch
And
whatever.
we know from the documentary, the great the Chris D'Elia problem, that great documentary. We know that the way Chris bullies people into getting what he wants is Kristen D'Elia says, "You know what? I'd like to watch the first episode of The Jinx season 2." And Chris goes, "If we watch it, I'm gonna kill myself." And then Kristen has to go, "Okay, we'll watch a movie then."
She's eventually gonna
Sorry,
be
I
like-
suggested it.
she's eventually just gonna start putting the Jinx on every day until he does it.
It's also like it's not the craziest thing. Like Chris talks about like pop culture and stuff. Like watching a documentary that people were talking about. It's not the craziest thing in the world, you know.
He does enough podcasts that I'm sure it'll come up.
What a terrible example. Like if she wanted to watch some garbage reality show or a chick flick or something, she's like, "Hey, do you want to watch this very popular documentary?" And Chris is like, "Oh, you bitch!
You cunt!
Why do you do this to me?"
and
a
I
genuine
already
laugh.
watch whatever I want to watch. You know, I kind of like try to bully whoever's around me into watching what I want to watch. But I'm trying to, you know, trying to be a little bit more, you know. So we watched the first episode of The Jinx, and I wasn't into it.
Much like my marriage. I wasn't into it. It was
Not in-
symbolic of really my whole existence.
He's just not into it. Not his thing. It's just a thing I don't like doing.
You bitch! He's just like, "Hey, you want to watch the first episode of this documentary?" Fuck! Why?
Oh yeah, I love
Why
Doc.
do you do this to me?
I want to watch Making a Murderer. Next we have him talking about interviewing people.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So, again, I maybe I'm reading too much into it. I think the things that Chris talks about, his real perspective is not exactly on the surface, but you have to look through a sheet of, razor thin tissue paper to see what he's really talking about.
Dude, hey, but no. Yeah. See, dude, I don't know what it takes to be like Joe Rogan, uber successful, like for interviewing people. I could never do it. Like Theo Vaughn,
We know.
killing it. I don't care how because you either have to sit across from somebody like this, or you have to sit across from somebody who's telling you something that actually makes sense. And then you're like, but I just want to think of what is going on in my head. You know?
No.
What's really working, Chris?
I wonder what is going on in his head.
These fucking rants are really working. Where he looks at Joe Rogan and is like, "No thanks."
The thing is, though, it is working.
For D'Elia?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very successful. I think his podcast numbers are down from what they used to be.
Let me check.
But yeah, he's extremely successful.
Let's take a peek at what this last episode got.
Well, they do well, but I think it's the same as like The Fighter and the Kid, where it's like they're still doing okay, but not what they used to be.
So, yeah, this episode had 40. Yeah, well, when he first came back, like that first episode, like his apology or whatever, got like 300,000 views.
Sure.
But
he used to be, you look at the guys he was way ahead of, like, Bad Friends does, I think, a couple 100,000 views an episode.
Yeah,
Rick Glassman, the guy we just mentioned, does, I don't know, 70, 80,000 views an episode.
This episode has 45,000 views.
So, a successful podcast for sure.
Mm.
But the trajectory he was on, I think that's what makes him look at guys like Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and be like, "Oh, fuck, I wish I was doing that."
There's a video called Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia talk about moms. How many views do you think that's got?
17,000.
35.
There you go. Good for them.
That's crazy. That, like, 5 years ago, that would have got 500,000.
Well, we don't know what it is, but sure.
What's this one?
We don't
Different.
need to- What is this exercise?
I just like seeing how far they've fallen and pointing it out.
Well, he's still a successful guy. That's not really the point. The point of this was that he brings up Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and is like, he's pretending that he doesn't want to have their careers, you know?
Theo Vaughn gets like 4 million views a video.
Massively popular. And the thing is, like, he actually used 2 bad examples because Joe Rogan is like a serious interviewer, whereas Theo Vaughn is very silly.
Right.
And even some not like his serious questions are kind of dumb and offbeat, you know? So he's actually using bad examples because he's showing that you don't have to be the same type of guy. You can be yourself and be a good interviewer. But I will give Chris credit for this. His self-awareness is good enough that he knows he would be a terrible interviewer because he's very self-involved and not interested in other people.
That's true.
So kudos to him.
This is him talking about different styles.
All right.
I see Theo Vaughn interviewing like a guy, and I mean, his podcast is so successful, and I'm just like, I don't want to interview that guy.
So
I don't want to. How do you have a conversation with somebody for fucking 2 hours about that?
You do it with yourself, Chris. You're doing it alone in a room. Just add a person there, and bang, you're done.
Remember your ideal story? Remember that?
Oh, imagine how much that would have been enhanced if fucking Bobby Lee was sitting there to giggle with you, you know?
I would ask Rogan about, like, how do you... I was like, if you had all the money in the world, would you still do the podcast? And he said, I think I would still do it, but I just wouldn't do it as much. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, because I love having conversations with people.
Can you imagine if Joe Rogan had, like, I don't know, $450 million?
Right.
You think he'd keep doing the podcast?
Would you quit?
That's a good point, Chris. What if Joe Rogan had a lot of money?
Does he like forget? Does he like block everyone out? Everything? If it's not like a 12-year-old girl, he just doesn't give a shit.
I don't know, because it's weird because he's acting like this conversation with Rogan happened yesterday. And clearly it didn't, because Joe Rogan has made hundreds of millions of dollars from the podcast. So I don't even understand the conversation.
I think Rogan actually took down his episodes with D'Elia too.
I remember that was the case at the time. I wonder if those episodes went up with like Apple, like the re-upload.
Let's check. I'll check.
We don't have to. Craig is intent on derailing this podcast.
I was gonna play the clip, but just look.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I guess that's where we're different.
Well, I guess that's where we're different. I guess like Joe Rogan is really successful and people find him interesting. And I guess I'm more obsessed with like 16-year-old pussy.
I would have loved to have seen D'Elia interview like Dr. McCullough, the guy who patented the vaccine.
But bro, the thing is like, what even are vaccines?
I don't even call them shots. I call them ouchies.
And Peter McCullough's like, well, I explained this to you already, but like, I think why do I need a vaccine for like chicken pox and smallpox and polio? Like, why do I need all these fucking vaccines, bro? I don't know. They do different things, Chris. I don't know how to get this through to you.
Holy fuck. I didn't think this was going to end. But we were on our last D'Elia clip, and it's just him coping.
Yeah, it's funny because we watched Callan go through the same thing, but it's funny to watch these guys in real time sometimes be like, fuck, I almost had it.
I mean, I like to have conversations with people, but not about big issues. I want to talk to them about why they like the pants they're wearing. And
why?
That stuff does it. That's, you know, I'm a niche audience, you know?
Well, why? You're right. Why? But also, like, just, you could do that.
He could do that.
What the fuck's stopping you? It would be a lot better. Like I said, with people, Chris is much better than this. It would be a lot better than Chris ranting and just thinking every sound he makes, every different inflection that he can make within his voice is entertaining.
Well, the problem, I think he won't say it, the incoming texts after he asked people to come on aren't coming back.
Probably so. Yeah. People don't really want to associate with Chris D'Elia, which is probably true. Now, I wonder if that stigma's going away at all with time. Time heals all gaping hymen wounds, you know?
I'm never gonna make $200 million on Spotify because I want to talk about how much bacon you eat, and it's just
What?
like
a shot at Rogan.
I guess.
Go back. Let me hear that again.
Like there's nobody's gonna. I'm never gonna make $200 million on Spotify because I want to talk about how much bacon you eat.
Oh, it's actually not a shot at Rogan. Here's what's funny. He's saying he's so offbeat and niche, which, by the way, he wasn't. He was actually like mainstream. Like he was a cornball, which made him popular with like young girls and stuff. He was not an alt comic by any means. But he's saying like, listen, I'm this zany guy that likes to talk about how people like their bacon.
See,
and Spotify will never pay for that.
I took that as like a shot at Rogan because they paid him so much money to talk basically about elk meat.
Here's how dumb he is. He doesn't realize what he's describing is like Rogan just talks about his interests with guests, and Spotify gave him $200 million. And Chris D'Elia is like, oh, I'm so quirky that the industry is afraid of me. It's like, no, I think there's a different reason they're not touching you, Chris.
Every episode, Rogan talks about chimpanzees ripping people's faces off.
Yeah, right. His interests are niche, to say the least.
That's fine, I guess.
Seems totally fine.
That is our boy Chris D'Elia.
Poor Chris. But yeah, I guess that's what he does every week. Like, I don't watch every week, but every time I tune in, we have these clips where it's just him and these bizarre rants that he goes on. And like clockwork, will always throw in a shot at his wife and talk about how he wishes he wasn't married. So good for Chris.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to the boogie stuff, but you want to hit Tim Dillon real quick?
Sure.
I thought Tim Dillon had a very funny. We talked about Unfrosted. I assume you haven't watched it still.
Correct.
That's good. 2 weeks ago, Craig was like, "Hey, I really want to watch Unfrosted so we can talk about it."
I'm gonna get to it.
And I said, "Boy, seems awfully late to do that." 2 weeks later, Craig still hasn't done it.
I haven't. I have not.
But you know who has is Tim Dillon, and I thought he had a very funny review of Jerry Seinfeld's movie. Because I was like, am I crazy? Because I've been listening to a lot of comics talk about how it's good. We played Bill Maher. I mean, obviously Bill Burr's in it. But like Bill Maher and these guys whose podcast Seinfeld went on, like Neil Brennan, they're all like, really good, Jer. Way to go. So I was like, am I nuts? And then luckily Tim Dillon was the voice of reason here.
This Pop-Tart movie has to be talked about. And I don't want to do it because I actually really like Jerry Seinfeld. I think he's a great stand-up comedian. I think he's got a nice family. I love Jim Gaffigan and Bill Burr. I think these are the greatest living comedians. They're legends. I love everyone else in the film, Kyle Dunnigan, whoever. I'm telling you right now, I was in my business manager's office the other day, and this lovely woman, I brought up the movie, and this lovely woman who's slightly brain dead, but that's okay. She goes, I said, did you see this? And she goes, yeah, it was good. Because that's all they're allowed to say in Los Angeles. Someone goes, yes, it was good. And she smiles. And I go, yeah, but it was for like kids though. And she goes, yeah, for kids. Like they just agree.
That's a lot of what I was hearing, where I'm like, are people actually watching it? What's happening here?
So this film, which I believe is fictional, other than the fact that the Pop-Tart does exist and was invented, is about the Pop-Tart. It's about the creation of the Pop-Tart.
He's flabbergasted.
He's stunned. This isn't helping my confidence at all.
He's so annoyed at this. Let's continue.
It may be when you have $1 billion, which I believe he has.
Yes, he does.
The things that interest and fascinate you maybe are not the things that are relatable to other people. The fact that they made a movie about this, the fact that this was interesting enough to him. Think of everything in the world. Think of all the things that have ever happened in the world. Just think about it. Let's go with it. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're jogging, driving to work, whatever the case may be. Just think about everything that's ever happened in this world of ours. Every invention, innovation, advancement, achievement, conspiracy, question, anything you would ponder at night, something you would think about as a kid when you were camping laying there in the tent going, what's the deal with this world we're in? All of those things. Now you have $1 billion and you're going to make a movie. Is the invention of the Pop-Tart worthy of making an entire and putting every comedian that's ever lived in this movie about the making of the Pop-Tart?
I was so glad hearing him so angry about this movie. Because there are people that are like, oh, you don't get it. You don't understand all the references. It's one excuse I will not accept is that it's for kids because it was rated PG-13. I will not, if it was a PG movie, I'd say fine. It's just nonsense for your child to turn on.
Well, I
won't
think
accept that because of the rating.
I think well, that's fair, but I think he's saying after he watched it, he goes, the only people that could possibly like this are children.
Ooh.
Tim Dillon, isn't that what he's saying, basically?
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying he says it's for kids. I'm saying the response I've seen some people say is like, oh, well, why would you like it? It's for kids. And I'm saying I will not allow that.
Yeah, all those comics are not making a kids movie. It's just...
No, why would they? Yeah.
And the part that's really upsetting is Bill Burr's confidence with Bill Maher. I'm flashing back now.
And you can't have a kids movie that... why would you make a kids movie that has references to the 1960s exclusively? It's all like every joke in it was Vietnam. That sounds like a great idea. Wonk, wonk, wonk. There's no kid that's going to be like, yes, get him, Jer.
Get him.
Take down Nixon.
Now he's talking about it's a family film.
Okay.
It's a nice family film, meaning you can watch it with your family and nothing's offensive, but the kids are going to leave the room. You can watch it with your kids. So, Smithsonian Magazine, in 1964, Kellogg's changed breakfast forever by introducing Pop-Tarts to the world. Was this such a big deal? Am I nuts?
This is why I was happy, because Tim Dillon's a pretty insightful guy. I think he understood the movie even less than I did. Because it's like a fictionalized... And Tim's like, I don't get what Jerry's doing here. So I was happy to hear that, because he understood it even less than I did. Which I was like, am I not getting it? But it's just not a thing. I don't know why Jerry did this.
See, that's why I'm convinced I'm missing something.
I feel like I had to be too, but I think here's what happened. I think Jerry hasn't taken a lot of risks over his career. Very smartly. He did Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, which he was very good at. He's very good at just bullshitting with comics. He made the documentary Comedian, which was very good. B-movie probably was for kids. It was animated. People aren't judging that as harshly. So whatever. If it sucked, no one really gives a fuck. He hasn't taken a lot of risks on project. Unfrosted was a massive risk that he took. And unfortunately, what I think it showed everybody is, oh, fuck, Larry did all the dirty work.
Yes, he did.
Like, Larry David was the genius behind Seinfeld. And before, it was a shared partnership. I'm sure there are people that would say, well, it was really Larry. And there might have been some that said it was really Jerry. I think Unfrosted kind of exposed, like, oh, any grit or commentary or insight that Seinfeld had, it had to be Larry David. That's what this dumb movie showed.
people were still being nice to Jerry because after Curb came out, it was pretty obvious.
It was obvious, but it was also possible they shared the brilliant. You know what I mean? Like,
Now
it's possible Larry could have created that, and yet they also both worked equally on Seinfeld. You know?
if you look at was it season 7 is the Seinfeld reunion.
Mhm.
It's an excellent season, and Jerry's in it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they treated that season almost like I think Jerry was more involved than we think, from what I thought I read. I could have been wrong. So it's like he still got it there if he,
I like when Craig. I almost just let it slide. I like when Craig makes up a fact like Jerry wrote season 7 of Curb. That
No,
he's
no, no.
just never.
No,
He's never heard that. No one's ever read that or written it. And Craig's just like, here's something that happened.
No, I thought I read that he obviously didn't write the season, but was adding his 2 cents to it.
Sure. But yeah, it's upsetting as a Seinfeld fan because you were like, he didn't have any real stains on him where this was an equal partnership. But even if you thought deep down like, oh, Larry had more to do, they were the two guys, and like I love that show so much that I always liked. There was never a riff between the two of them, anything, and you could kind of just comfortably be like, hey, Larry and Jerry were a great partnership, and then you watch Unfrosted, and you're like, oh fuck. Larry's shoulders must have been pretty tired.
Well, Jerry's a good guy.
I'm sure Jerry's a great guy, yeah.
Here's Tim's movie.
It's just crazy to think of Jerry's the Garfunkel of that partnership, and you never would have thought that.
No.
Sorry, let's hear about Tim's
made
version.
a movie about the invention of the yodel. And I had $1 billion, and I made a movie about the invention of the yodel. And I put every comedian in the world in this movie about the yodel being made. And I was like, in the 1990s, like this would be the trailer. In the 1990s, there was a snack cake invented that changed the world, the yodel. And people would go, Tim Dillon's lost his mind. His mind now. That guy used to talk about things that had some value. And now he's lost his mind. When were yodels invented, by the way? I don't know when they were invented.
That is, you could just, that's the thing, is this movie had no depth. You could make it about anything. Just the invention of the tricycle, the invention of Monopoly, you just pick an item that was around at a time, and you could make a period piece about it. If it was around in the fucking 40s, you'd be like, oh, the atomic bomb. I don't think anyone's going to get hurt from that. Walk. This Hitler guy, the 1930s, this Hitler guy's got some pretty good ideas. You could just make a period piece about anything. That's exactly right. It had no depth to it. There was no commentary or insight or anything. And Jerry hides behind this thing of like, oh, well, comedian or children. He did it in that Barry Weiss interview that everyone's talking about, where he cried for some reason. We should have played that. Fuck. Well, we played it earlier.
Was one of the best people to have ever been on this earth.
Yep, that was from Barry Weiss earlier this week.
Sorry.
And what was I saying?
I don't know.
Lost my train of thought. Oh. That Jerry hides, but he's like, he always says like, oh, well, comedy's a very childish career field to get into. Like, we're all children. And he kind of hides behind that with this Pop-Tart movie where he's like, yeah, we're all children, so I can just talk about Pop-Tarts, and it's really funny because I'm silly. I'm 70, so it's crazy that I'm talking about a snack food.
Now, I haven't seen it, obviously. But now I'm realizing what Bill Burr was doing when he was like, "There wasn't it great when the two, Kellogg's and whatever the fuck."
Oh, the references, man!
They came up. And one was in a Ford and one was in a Chevy. Wasn't that great?
The crazy references. You actually do a decent Bill Burr. That wasn't terrible.
His serious Burr.
Yeah.
Here's the premise of Tim's movie.
Okay, good.
Or is this Unfrosted? I don't even remember.
Oh, the premise to Unfrosted, I think, yeah.
And they all do a fine job. I'm not going at any of the comedians here. It's just the movie, the jokes aren't really funny. The premise is insane. I don't understand. And I'm not trying to be negative about it. It's just crazy. You have Hugh Grant playing Tony the Tiger. Here's what's also funny about this. This is what unleashed decades of obesity in this country. Decades.
Hold on. He's about to make this is a great point. This is what a comedian would have done with this plot line. Like someone with some insight, some thoughts, some things they wanted to say. This is like the angle a comedian might have taken with this movie.
Sugar addiction. And they kind of goof about it, but it's not ever treated as it should be. Like the invention of the nuclear weapon, the Pop-Tart. Like marketing sugar to children the way we did was like probably one of the darkest things. The whole movie should start where it's just legless fat people in hospitals. And it should have been a documentary, and Jerry Seinfeld should go up to a guy who's got one leg, and the stench of the room is making Seinfeld almost vomit. Because, you know, you can get gangrene when they cut off a leg. And Seinfeld is standing in this room, and he says to the nurse, he's like, is there anything we can do about the smell? And he's just interviewing this man whose leg has been cut off. And he goes, what happened to you? And the guy starts by saying, I was raised on Pop-Tarts. And I got diabetes, and they had to saw off my leg. See, that's the real movie that should have been made. Jerry Seinfeld should go interview morbidly obese, bedridden people whose sugar has ruined their entire lives. And he should have to stand there and try to have humanity with them. Like when someone's laying in a hospital bed and they go, am I going to die? And he goes, I don't know. Jerry Seinfeld should have to hold the hand of someone who's dying.
Yeah, that's obviously taken to a ridiculous level. But there's something in there that's absolutely true, where it's like you can make an absurd, silly movie and have some kind of commentary. Like, yeah, they made like a joke here and there about how sugar's not great for you. But the theme of the movie wasn't like sugary breakfast cereals have been a plague on the country. It's like, hey, aren't cereal names wacky? They did a bit 3 different times in this movie where they just list potential cereal names. And it's like, Sugary O's. And the joke is like, isn't that a fucking silly name? You know? Like, that's how easy it is to name cereals. Isn't that wild?
This movie would have crushed in the 80s.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like that's the kind of humor that is meant for.
See, I don't think it would have, because those jokes had some fucking bite to them, at least. Like even back then, like there was nothing. There was not an absurd. It wasn't like absurdly funny. It wasn't silly funny. It wasn't deep. It wasn't shallow. It wasn't anything. It was it was Jerry Seinfeld essentially for 2 hours or an hour and a half, whatever it is, saying, isn't a Pop-Tart a silly item to think about?
Insane. Here's the pitch.
Okay, good. This is Tim Dillon talking to Netflix. This is him pitching Ted Sarandos on his movie.
No one can say no to any of these people at this amount of what. No, Jerry Seinfeld could have pitched anything. It was just yes. There's nothing he could have said that they would not have said yes to, by the way. He could have said anything. He could have been like the stapler. I want to do a movie about the stapler. And they all went, well, oh, yes. He goes, because it's funny you get in accidents. You ever get a staple in your palm? They go, yes. It's yes, whatever you want. I just want to get to that point in my career where I could just come in and say something and say, this is how the meeting should have went with Seinfeld. Tell me you want to do a movie about the creation of the Pop-Tart.
Let's do a movie. I want to do a movie about the creation of the Pop-Tart.
No.
But I really like Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, no, that's all. That's right. That should just been no.
He went on to say, he went back to doing his yodel pitch to Ted Sarandos, like in an elevator. and he's just like, now I'm the level where Ted, I would just be like, no, Ted, where are you going? I'm not done. But if you're Jerry Seinfeld, he's right. They're just like, Jerry just has to say, I'm thinking about doing a movie. And absolutely. Yep, you got it. And that's what this was. I don't think anyone ever read the script. I think they just greenlit. Like, they know Jerry's clean. They don't have to worry about offending anyone. They're just like, okay, whatever you want to do, Jerry. Now, that's what took away. Like, I agree with everything Jerry's been saying on these podcasts. Again, the crying was a little odd. But the stuff like at Duke, like the speech that he gave and his comments on like toxic masculinity, all that, I like that Jerry's saying that. I have no issue with it. And I don't agree with people that are like, hey, you're a clean comic. Where do you get off saying this? Because to me, it's like, oh, it's a guy that you would think it's not even affecting saying, I noticed these things, you know? I think that actually gives more weight to it. But what takes away from it is Jerry had full power to do whatever he wanted with this movie. And he was like, gosh, aren't Pop-Tarts silly? Oh, yuck, 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 yuck. It's like, oh, Jer, you fumbled it. You had an opportunity. Everything Jerry's talking about, like, we need to bring comedy back to where it used to be, where people don't give a fuck.
That's the part that sucks for him, is all the rants he's been going on about freedom to write. And
people should be able to do whatever they want. And it's like, well, not if they watch this.
Jerry, we're talking about like saying cunt on television, not making a movie about Pop-Tarts.
There should be some censorship. Like Netflix should have been like, well, this can't be on TV, obviously.
We cannot show people that Seinfeld is capable of this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing. Netflix now owns the rights to Seinfeld. They should have been thinking of some preservation for the name. You know? Right.
People see the show up there and be like, I just can't right now.
I can't. Yeah, I haven't watched Seinfeld since I've watched that movie. That's for sure. Damn. But I'll be back soon, I'm sure. But yeah, I thought Tim did a very good job with that rant. He summarized everything. I'm too dumb to put into words. He got there for me.
I just like, but I really like Pop-Tarts. No, it's okay.
No. That's a wrap.
We're 2 hours in. What do you want to do here?
We got to get to Boogie.
I was going to say
that's unquestionable.
We have at least 2 hours left if we want it.
Yeah, let's do Boogie. Everything else will hold for another day. We got to get to Boogie.
It's Boogie.
So, yeah, actually, is there anything that can introduce the Boogie segment?
Yep.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Thank you.
They came to you.
They sure did. They come to me for the Boogie coverage. So we talked about Boogie. We've talked about Boogie a few times now. People really enjoyed him. Now, here's where, like, people liked that Boogie story with Suge Knight and all that. And it seems like we had some good observation. We pointed out some things that I thought were pretty fun. Go back and watch it if you haven't. But to be honest, here was my assessment, is that we kind of manipulated the story to make it sound like he was a closeted, self-hating racist.
My favorite was that first Boogie clip. We paused right before he was going to say something, and you were like, I bet it's going to be the complete opposite of what Craig thought. Ha ha ha. And then it was way worse than whatever joke you thought.
But to be honest, I kind of, like, even when we were done with that, I kind of thought, like, that's not really true. You know, like, we goofed on it, but I'm sure we're taking him out of context a little bit. I found another episode of, it's not Story Time with Boogie. I forget what he called this one. Like the Hollywood tapes or something like that.
This is called the Hollywood University Stereo Podcast.
What a great name. Yeah, so I listened to this episode and I was chilled to my core.
I'm very much looking forward to this.
A lot of it's really unbelievable. I don't remember how quickly we get there, so be patient. But let's hear from Boogie. What do you say? I think that the names of some of these tracks are important. So
yeah, this one is called Drive-In. So this one's not so.
Oh yeah, so he's talking about going to a drive-in. He's invited to a drive-in movie theater in a mysterious place.
It's a lot of stuff that goes on in Los Angeles in the summertime. I'm not going to discuss it all. I'm going to discuss some of the things that stand out to me personally. Had folks asked me from some years back to do something. We going to remember the old school drive-in? Remember the drive-in theater? I'm like, yeah, I remember the drive-in. Okay, we're going to go to something that's like the drive-in. You always got to be careful anytime somebody say it's like something. It's like that.
Why?
So, I'm thinking, okay, when they say it's like the drive-in, they talk about taking snacks and they got some beer. I don't drink, but, they talk about taking some beverages and some food, some chips. We're going to sit out and watch some movies. I'm like, that's dope. Now, I'm one of those types of people that I like to go places by myself.
I think you have to, because no one's going with you.
No one.
Oh, but this is him telling the story. Remember, we heard him tell this in the Suge Knight story, where he likes to drive so that he can leave at any time.
Right.
He gets back into that here.
That way, if you ready to go and I ain't ready to go, we good. If I'm ready to go and you ain't ready to go, we good. So I always like to ask for the directions. How you just tell me how to get there. I'm good. I'll meet y'all there. What time you going? They give me the directions. Now, as I'm coming down the street, I'm seeing a line of people. But the line of people, as I'm getting close to the address, this line of people is coming from the damn cemetery.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, in my mind, I ain't known these folks for that long. I'm happy they thought of me to invite me to they little barbecue, cookout, picnic, whatever we calling it.
He's like, I should have known when it was a barbecue that something was up. They're trying to trick me.
Watch your goddamn mind. If you think I'm finna sit and watch some movies at the cemetery?
Oh, God.
Whose idea was this? It's hard to even say whose idea was this, because when I say the line was long, that line was long. And as I'm surveying the line, I ain't seeing a bunch of black folks in this line.
So all systems go.
Why?
So I actually settled down and I got more into the idea.
I thought, all right. Well, we're all safe then. But remember I said this about BooG, where he makes a meal out of the most nothing stories.
That's delightful.
I forgot how long it took for him to get into this. Where it's like, Jesus Christ, BooG. The story so far is like, they had a drive-in movie theater in kind of an offbeat place. A cemetery, that's an odd place for a drive-in movie theater. But I assume that the elements allowed it to be as such, Like, I'm sure the setup just allowed, like, we could put a drive-in movie theater here, make a few bucks. This might have been during the pandemic. He mentioned it was a few years ago. So, I don't know, dire times, BooG? We don't need to stretch this out over 40 minutes.
With ghosts. Because you got to be also, your cojones have got to be so big for you to feel like you just go kick it on somebody that you don't even, I don't care if you know them or not. You finna just kick it on somebody's grave. Eating chips and Funyuns, churros, dropping crumbs. You don't do that on nobody's grave.
Oh my God.
You're driving. I imagine you stay in your car.
I have to see the setup of this place.
I'm so annoyed. By the way, guys, stay with us. I'm so annoyed because this isn't even the good stuff. I clipped this thinking like, oh, this is some interesting BooG we can make fun of, but I know what's coming and I just want to get there so badly.
That's kind of where I'm like, you've talked this up highly.
It won't disappoint, I'm telling you.
Hey, hold on. Where's this thing at? They talk about, I think you just rode past us. Y'all at the cemetery? Y'all trying to go see this at the cemetery? You know what? Hit me when y'all, you know what? Don't even hit me, matter of fact. I feel like we all have the same shit in common. We shared a couple good laughs, but y'all on some other shit. You tried to get me, now imagine if I'd have told these folks to come pick me up. See, here's the thing. With me, I'm not really a scary kind of dude. I don't really get scared. I am, however, cautious as hell. See, it's a difference. There's a difference between being scary, and being hold up. That's different. I'm hold up, dude. Hold up. I'm always looking, paying attention.
So
who's around?
I'm anticipating bad. So in my head, I'm pre-filling in blanks before he finishes talking, and I'm way off on all of them so far.
You're kind of on the right track, but
Shut up. Oh God. Okay, let's see what the next clip is. Okay, this has to be where it begins. This is out of nowhere.
Okay, so we're in the cemetery.
I ain't getting on none of them damn rides. You out your damn mind. Who? No, I don't know where y'all got this shit from. I don't know if it's regulated. I don't know who checking this. No, I'm not riding none of this shit. Listen, I used to work at Cedar Point. The Cedar Point is the roller coaster capital of the world. Craig.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. That was just fun that he mentioned your name. That's the only reason I like that one.
This was filmed yesterday. He's just mad at me, not you.
What the fuck, Craig? But he starts talking about Cedar Point, which is this amusement park that he worked at when he was a kid.
I might have to put that one on the side there.
That's why I included it. I apologize. That one I got confused.
Continued here.
That they had like 3 hotels on the property. You couldn't hit Cedar Point all in one day. Especially if you had some kids with you. Nope. Cedar Point had a whole part of the park that was just a water park. Most places you go, they got the water park a mile away from the amusement park. Cedar Point had its own water park. This place was huge. And I got a chance.
He stretches out everything where he's like, a cemetery? This amusement park had a water park. That's pretty much how every water park is, Boogie.
As soon as he said like the water park was about a mile away, I'm expecting him to go, because.
Well, don't get too caught up in that. We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll just enjoy the ride for now, where he's like, this amusement park, I ran this amusement park, is what he's about to start talking about. Where he was the king of fucking Splash Mountain here at Cedar Point.
I feel like I'm like Opie at this point, where I'm watching Boogie, but I'm scared.
Okay, well, we could skip ahead, but I just don't remember which clip exactly is the real bombshell. Maybe I did you a disservice by bracing you, but
no,
just trust me.
We're going with it.
One summer. Yeah, I said it. I was the king of that shit. Anywhere I generally go, I try to be the king of that shit. What does that mean? That means I want everybody to know who I am when I was there. I want everybody to know my name. That was just my personality.
This is the weird thing. We talked about this last week where like he thought he was going to get filmed on the plane or something.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's like a star. It's just weird about him introducing himself like, hey, it's Boogie from Nickelodeon's iCarly. No, that is meaningless to even the people that the most avid iCarly fans don't give a fuck.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Yeah, no one cares. You shouldn't introduce yourself that way.
Hey, it's Boogie.
No one knows what that means.
Anything, anybody about anything, y'all know it. That's just who I've been. So anytime I go into situations where I'm working, before I leave this shit, before my time here is done, you gonna know my name.
And they didn't.
Still don't.
It was just a guy that worked at a fucking amusement park.
That's right.
Can you imagine having that thought? Like you work at Six Flags or something, and you're like, I'm going to rule this place. I will be Mickey Mouse at Disney World.
Oh my God, there's way more Boogie than I fucking remember cutting.
Yeah.
Okay. Here he's talking about food. Was that?
Okay. We're getting close.
I could hear him talk about like pencils. Like it doesn't matter.
Well, we're getting close. Don't worry.
But one of my favorite things, the only thing that I do is eat out there. I got to get something to eat. And there's certain things that I wish I could eat in public. Certain things that I just can't bring myself to. I can't bring myself to eat this in front of a bunch of people I don't know.
Oh.
Why, Boog?
A big ass giant turkey leg. I would kill that. I would fuck that turkey leg up. I'm not finna walk around all these white folks eating no giant piece of chicken. No. Now, if I take somebody
Boogie, it's a different bird.
It's a turkey, idiot. You ever been to Disney World, dude? Like, there's psycho whites that walk around with those turkey legs.
But even the most racist person isn't going to see him eating a turkey leg and go, "Get him!"
They're not even fried.
Shit. It's a different food item. But this is where Boogie's mind goes. Is he is going to get in some stereotypes here that are going to blow your mind.
Oh god.
I feel bad clipping those first two because I hope people are still with us because we're now getting into some shaky ground.
As soon as he said, "I can't be seen," I went, "Oh no."
It's crazy what he thinks black people should be allowed to do in public.
No. Now, if I take somebody with me and she hold it, shorty will hold it. My shorty will hold it. She'll rock with me. But me personally,
Yeah, y'all know I only date white girls.
My shorty.
So he's allowed, like, he brings a white woman with him to hold his turkey leg. Because in the society that only he is a part of, a man that looks like him isn't allowed to eat turkey.
I'll hold it to take a bite. You hold it, I bite it.
Yeah, that would look less crazy.
You ain't never gonna see me purchasing nor eating watermelon.
That's more on brand there, Boogie.
listen to his. He wants watermelon abolished in the black community. Instead of saying, well, now Dave Chappelle had a great bit where he's like, man, if you don't like fried chicken and watermelon, there's something wrong with you. He put it on racists.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart. Boogie is saying, hey, whatever you guys want for me to fit in. He wants the watermelon seeds eradicated. He doesn't want another watermelon grown. So certain people aren't tempted in the future.
The way he says watermelon is so funny.
Go back.
You hold it, I bite it. I know.
That's what Craig tells his young friends, by the way. You hold it, I'll bite it.
Delia, right, guys?
You ain't never gonna see me purchasing nor eating watermelon. It sucks. I don't really like watermelon like that, but I think one of the reasons I don't like watermelon like that is just cause I don't want to be me in my head thinking about shit that probably don't even matter, but it do.
No, it doesn't. But hey, Boogie, on behalf of the whites, have a watermelon. It's a refreshing snack.
It doesn't matter at all.
Go for it. No one cares, man. Unburden yourself.
He's like, but it does matter.
well, I mean, we're about to hear. You think this is crazy? We're about to hear relationships that have been ruined from this goddamn snack, this fruit, vegetable, whatever.
Matter, but it do. It mattered to me.
Okay, that was the part we missed there.
It matters to him very much. How I guess white people perceive him. I'm here to say, Boogie, go for it. Have some chicken. Have some watermelon. It's all good, man. No one. These are 1980s stereotypes.
Not that clip. The one I'm just clicking on is the one called "Avoiding Stereotypes." So I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, listen, the man he tries his hardest to eradicate certain behaviors.
I like to get the big brick of fries. I don't ever finish it. See, now here's the key. When you go to the festival, the fair, the carnival, if you want to get a chance to really taste some savory dishes and really get a chance to get some gratification off of all the cool spots, don't try to eat all of everything. You can't. You just can't.
Okay.
The folks gave me, the fries that come look like a brick. That's got to be like 5 pounds of potatoes. I ain't finna eat all this shit. I only wanted a couple fries. But since y'all giving them away for cheap, give me the whole brick and I just pick something off of it. The bacon wrap this. fried Oreos, frog legs. I want to eat all of it. My shorty, she won't try them frog legs. Frog legs, cool. It ain't something I'm finna eat every day, but at the fair, that's right. I eat some frog legs at the fair, but I ain't.
That's white people food. I'm allowed to eat it.
Is this?
I guess, according to Boogie, he's allowed to eat frog legs, but not a turkey leg.
I was gonna say, I think that's reversed.
Because the whites would chase him out of the fair.
Like, I always enjoy him being so anti-black and just talking the way he does. It's very funny.
Is he the most cautious black guy, or is he just like a racist?
I think he's a racist. Like,
I think
straight
he's
up
just a racist.
Like a grand cyclops is me like, Jesus, not so loud, dude.
Shit. Just me. There's certain things that it sucks sometimes. I find myself, just because I don't want to look a certain way, I might be missing out on shit. Or I do extra shit just because I don't want to fall into no stereotype. Like, I find myself sometimes when I go out, often, over tipping. You know why?
Why, Boogie? Who doesn't do that?
Stereotypes, like, I hit shit. So I don't never want to fall into any specific.
I like the idea of Boogie at a restaurant seeing like another black patron, and when he gets up after his meal, Boogie walks over and slips $20 extra in. I'm sure these people didn't leave you a proper tip, ma'am. So I want to make sure.
I want to avoid stereotypes, so I find myself over tipping. Oh, that's so funny.
Like, I find myself sometimes when I go out, often, over tipping. You know why? Y'all hear all the stereotypes, like I hear the shit. So I don't ever want to fall into any specific category. You know? I always want to look better than, and sometimes that shit sucks.
Oh. Better than who, Boogie?
Who are you talking about?
The general riffraff, I suppose.
Oh, we have 2 clips left.
Okay.
Good news.
Yes.
One of them is 4.5 minutes long.
Yeah. There's a story in here about him visiting his friend's house. I'm not sure which one this is.
That's this one, his black friend.
Yeah, so him and his black friend are going to a party. Here's the kicker, Craig. The party is at a white person's house.
Oh, no.
That spells bad news, because now Boogie has to chaperone this, this friend of his who isn't as concerned about how he's perceived.
Finally, I come around this little area, and it's the kitchen. It's like a back way to the kitchen. And I kind of peek my head in, and I still don't see nobody. Then I see there's like a little nook, if you would, like a little nook. And in that little nook, as I look down, I can see somebody's foot kind of poking out. And as I look, I see that's Dave. Okay, that's Dave's shoe. Now, immediately, Dave. I'm like, I know he ain't over there eating without me. Like, what could he be doing in this little nook? What is he doing over here? So as I walk in the kitchen, peek my head around this little nook, excuse me, I see Dave with a plate of watermelon, just gnawing on this watermelon.
So I shot him where he stood.
And I would have shot him, but the stereotypes, I had to avoid them.
Listen to the outrage. So here's what happened. He brought his black friend to a party. They had watermelon out. Now, the party's like kind of leaving out of it. They were serving watermelon. The host is never like, hey, what? Don't you see the whites only sign? Get out of here, you. I should have known you people loved watermelon.
My friend Dave, you got to drink from the wrong cooler.
My friend Dave applied for a job. He know they need not do that.
I see Dave with a plate of watermelon,
My
just
God.
mowing on this watermelon.
You know how they be.
He's killing. He got a salt shaker in one hand and he holding a plate with that.
Oh, again, this is literally, it's the Chappelle bit. Look at him. He's loving it.
Watermelon's delicious.
Of course, sure. If you like watermelon, fucking mow down on it. Who cares? It's 2024 for when he's recording this, 2018, whatever. No one's like, maybe at Craig's house, but the rest of us.
No.
No one's like, oh, of course. Honey, I knew we should have brought extra watermelon. You didn't tell me black guys were going to be here.
Now, in my mind, I'm immediately hot.
What?
Like I said,
He sees his friend eating watermelon. He's
No, he's pissed.
He's immediately angry.
He's like, and he's relating to, he's like, as you all know, of course, I'm immediately furious.
he holding a plate with the, and he just, now in my mind, I'm immediately hot. Because like I said before, there's just certain shit that I will not do. You just don't do. You just don't do it. Now, I don't know if Dave is on some I don't give a fuck shit. Or he's not really privy.
He just wanted some watermelon.
Boogie's the kind of guy that'll give his black friends wedgies so their pants don't fall down.
Yes. We've heard him say, like, pull your fucking pants up. He's Cosby.
He's Cosby.
To the stereotypes that surround us. But for whatever reason, it don't matter in this moment. So I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, are you
How could you, Dave?
say anything? I hear JR's mom behind me say, got you some more. And as I turn around, JR's mama got one of them silver platters with watermelon just heaped.
Oh, that enabling bitch.
I can't believe it.
So you mean to tell me they provided so much they wanted people to eat watermelon so much at this party that they brought more into the kitchen? You mean to tell me they had an abundance of watermelon and this prick Dave is sitting there eating it? This no good rotten bastard.
Boogie's like the kind of guy that's like, he sees a black guy at like Disney World going into the bathroom by himself. He tackles him and he's like, you don't go anywhere without your family.
This woman comes into the kitchen and Boogie's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry he made you do this.
He's too black
like,
for this.
The watermelon's for everyone. I don't care. Did he make you feel like you had to serve watermelon? I'm so sorry. Did him jiving on in here make you feel like you needed watermelon? Ma'am, I'm sorry. I don't know what made him think he could hippity hop on in here and just have the run of the kitchen.
Don't stop.
Looked back at Dave, and I kind of had a smirk on my face, like you're joking me. This is some.
I'm not going to let these white people know how furious I am at you.
I told him you were really tan.
Fucking joke, gotta be, because I know for a fact.
Oh, this is my Italian friend Dave. He happens to love chicken and watermelon, but pay no mind to that. He's just an Italian.
You did not ask this man's mama to go and get you some more fucking water. I know for a fact you didn't ask her to go get you no more watermelon. Tell me you didn't. Now, I'm not even going to ask you that because I know that I just know facts.
Hold on. He probably didn't.
And if he did,
she probably put out watermelon to serve and said, oh, people are enjoying it. I'm going to bring some more watermelon.
And if he did ask, by all means, be mad. But this lady sounds so nice. She was probably, can I get you some more? And he took her up on it.
Of course, that's just how anytime I've been to a friend's house or anything, the mom or the host, the wife, the hostess, the person hosting the party wants you to eat.
Yes.
This is not Dave. Did nothing wrong here. He ate the food. Now, if he went into their fridge and was like, "Nom watermelon, I can't stop myself," you know why?
He's eating watermelon like a zombie eats brains.
He's eating through the core.
She puts the tray down in front of him. I turn around. I look at her. I kiss her on the cheek. I head towards
Dave's never going to hurt you again. I'm so sorry.
They never found Dave's body after this party.
Adam, I'll holler at you in a minute. I'm on my way out to the car. I'm about to leave Dave's ass here.
Now, mind you, Dave doesn't know these people.
No.
Boogie gives this woman a kiss and says, Dave hasn't tried to touch you, has he?
Boogie is furious because his friend is eating a fruit.
He's going to storm out. He's like, all right, you want to eat watermelon? I'm going to leave you here. You're not going to embarrass. I'm not going to let anyone know you came with me.
About to leave Dave's ass.
Which, by the way,
out here.
then people are going to start to ask, who's this Dave guy and why is he eating all our watermelon?
Yeah, leave him by himself.
Adam, I'll holler at you in a minute. I'm on my way out to the car. I'm about to leave Dave's ass here. I'm about to leave Dave's ass right out here in Orange County. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck are you doing, dog? So as I'm walking out to the car, I'm hustling because I'm really adamant. I'm leaving this motherfucker.
And I'm worried there's a black guy behind me. So I got a little hustle going.
I'm walking with my hand on my back pocket.
You know how somebody's pants is falling down, so they kind of shuffling their feet. As I look over my shoulder, that motherfucker shuffling behind me out to the car. He got the one piece of fucking watermelon that he was already eating. This shit is ate down to the rind so much, it looked like a piece of loose leaf notebook paper.
That feels racist in itself, him describing him eating the watermelon.
He's so black, he eats every last bite.
You got a whole nother plate with about 5 pieces of watermelon heaped up on this plate. So now in my mind, I'm like, did you just come shuffling out of these people?
God forbid they were serving grape soda at this place. Can you imagine the temper tantrum?
No. Boogie calms down when they're in the car. He's like, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean anything. And then Dave just cracks a grape soda.
If Boogie ever shoots up a movie theater, we know who was talking. That's enough.
Like, I would be caught dead with Dave in a horror movie.
All them people, what? I got in the car. I started the car, and I was about to pull off, but he grabbed the door handle. I was trying to leave him. He get in the car.
But they're very fast.
Abandoning your friends and family, Boogie. Quite stereotypical, you ask me.
I'll give them this. They're athletic. He caught up to me real quick.
What's wrong? What's wrong? And he's really looking at me like, what's wrong? Like he don't get it. He has no
perfectly reasonable for Dave to be like, hey, I ate the food they were serving at a party. What's wrong?
Why I just left him. So I'm like, bro, are you serious? And he's like, what? I don't know.
Are you didn't equate in your mind that you're not allowed to eat foods that I've deemed racist?
Are you fucking kidding me?
What's wrong?
You don't realize that I have segregated certain foods and you're not allowed to eat some of them?
He's my wifo. Does that mean anything to you?
He has no idea why I just left him. So I'm like, bro, are you serious? And he's like, what? I don't know what's happening. What's happening? What's wrong? Now, he's fucked up a little bit, so that's annoying as shit already. Because he's slurring. I'm just, what? Like, yo.
Dave seems like a perfect party guest.
He seems like
he's having a lovely time.
As the kids say, got the assignment? Is that what they're saying?
Sure.
Just the dumb shit. He talking the dumb shit now. So I'm like, hey, man. Why would you go in there?
Oh, what were you all hopped up on Colt 45, Dave?
You drinking the Henny, aren't you? In front of the white folk.
These motherfuckers. Why would you go in their house and be all in the kitchen, just hunched over, eating watermelon like that? Why would you be doing? If you like watermelon like that, if you wanted some watermelon, I could have got you 5 whole watermelons on the way home. I could have got you to eat in the car.
She's like, well, I'm not a machine, Boogie. I'd like an appropriate amount of watermelon at the party we were at.
Got you 5 watermelons on the way home.
That's a hilarious number for a racist guy to throw out there.
I got you five.
Fine, you want 60 buckets of chicken? Fine, you have it.
Instead, you're eating watermelon in front of my white friends.
And Dave, meanwhile, is just like, I don't get it. Why the watermelon? I don't understand. I'm not allowed to eat. Like, in Dave's mind, Dave seems like such not a racist that he's like, he's not even thinking watermelon. He's like, I ate the food that was out there. And Boogie's like, oh, like you don't know exactly what you did, you little troublemaker.
Boogie is fuming mad.
He left this party. He's hot.
He's hot, as he says.
Like that. If you wanted some watermelon, I could have got you 5 whole watermelons on the way home. I could have got you one to eat in the car. Then I could have got you.
Because you probably couldn't help yourself. I'm sure you put your watermelon bib on and dig right in.
4 days out of this, whatever the fuck the number is, I could have got you some watermelon. You don't go up in these folks' house eating no watermelon, dog. What you doing? He couldn't get it. He couldn't understand it. That's why I said that was the first and last time that I'd ever taken him to Orange County with me for something like that.
What, did he just turn like gay as hell?
Yeah, and it was not. And well, that was him whiting it up again to say. And so guys, you white folks, so you accept me? I never spoke to Dave again.
This was overcorrection.
I lost his number. Overcorrection? Yeah, there was no correction to be made. A guy ate fruit at a party.
He couldn't get it. He couldn't understand it. That's why I said that was the first and last time that I'd ever taken him to Orange County with me for something like that.
That's an overcorrection.
He's slipping back into white, like gay white voice for some reason.
That was a gay white.
He's a Karen.
Yeah.
He really. Oh, you people are coming into my neighborhood and eating all the watermelon.
This is the last clip here.
Okay.
It's in summation.
Oh yeah, so at the end of the day, here's really the message Boogie wants to get across.
It's tough just being yourself. I struggle from it, doing things that might be out of my character just so people don't look at me like. Nobody want to be considered ghetto. Nobody want to be considered typical unless you trying to make money off that shit online. You want to be ghetto dude so you can get some likes, try to go viral.
So anyone, I guess he means like anyone that, like any rapper is probably like, they're faking it, I guess. like they're trying to be that way rather than just like, it's a stereotype, but it comes from somewhere. Like there are people like that, but Boogie thinks those people should be abolished, apparently.
Right.
But if you're not trying to be that person, that means all the stereotypes that have been floating around for years and years and decades about your race, you don't want to fit into that. So I'm giving somebody extra bread as a tip, even though they might not deserve it. That way, they can go back and go, wow, that black guy's a good tipper. Probably ain't even thinking about that shit. I am.
This is literally a pull your pants up and straighten your hat speech.
Wow, that black guy's a good tipper.
Now look at this disgusting one eating all the watermelon. Poor Dave.
Wow.
Just wanted to enjoy a healthy snack.
They can go back and go, wow, that black guy's a good tipper. They probably ain't even thinking about that shit. I am.
I like that he's like, the racists aren't even, this is not even on their mind. But me, I'm ever vigilant.
I'm so racist, I'm bringing stuff to their attention.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. You don't even have to think of it. I'm taking care of it. I'm slapping watermelon out of black men's hands around the country.
You just imagine if he did that, be like, that'd be a great television show.
Or more of a TikTok series, maybe. But yeah, Boogie going around to barbecues and things, slapping fried chicken and watermelon out of black men's hands.
That legitimately could be like one of the most popular things ever done.
Well, someone get in Boogie's ear. Let him know we've got a good idea for him.
Yeah, I'll film it. I'll follow him everywhere.
I thought that was fun. I don't know. Maybe I overhyped it, but I thought it was fun.
No, I mean the first part I was like, okay, what's he getting at here? And then just
I couldn't believe my ears that he left a friend at a party and then cut ties with him
because he ate watermelon.
because he ate watermelon.
Not only did he eat watermelon, someone brought it to him.
It was served. And even in Boogie's impression of the party, some lady was like, "Here's more watermelon. Hope you enjoy it." She wasn't like, "Of course."
Right? No.
Oh, of course they do.
It's hot as hell out, and Boogie, wants watermelon more than anything. But there's white people around, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just have some Brussels sprouts, please."
No chance, baby. I'll starve.
I know what you're up to.
All right, real quick. There's a great G.D. Fenderson quote that I probably want in the outro too. This one might take a minute to get to too, but we got to play this before we get out of here.
This is a 10-minute clip.
Yes, but we'll get there. Don't worry.
Okay.
I assure you, we're not going to play the whole thing.
Is this video or is this? Oh, yes, it is.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
Well, he tells us. I forget the name of it, but he tells us.
Critical
joke theory.
This is me stalling so I can get the timestamp.
Now with new joke technology.
I get screamed at. Whoop. Getting yelled at. That's me.
By who?
I don't know, Hack Red probably. Or he shall not be named.
You getting yelled at?
No. It was just a timestamp thing.
Oh.
Here we go.
Hello, welcome to Critical Joke Theory with your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. Now with new joke technology. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. Welcome to Critical Joke Theory.
Is that the joke every time?
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that?
I thought he made different ones every time.
Nope.
Oh, boy.
Why would you when it's funny every time? You see, let me explain.
By the way, GD Fenderson looks like Boogie, like all grown up, like an old man Boogie.
Well, that's racist of you.
No,
but he's a certified forensic humorist at large. Now, I think at large means like he's missing, right? Isn't that what that phrase would mean? Like he's on the loose.
Yeah.
But, which doesn't make any sense, but let's pretend it does. He says, at large, but I'm losing weight. You see? It's funny. It doesn't really mean that he's fat, but he has such a skewed slant on the world. You don't get it.
It's true.
Episode 57. Now with new joke technology, an open caption for the humor impaired. Dabney Coleman.
That's also the joke every time, if you were wondering. It's packed with jokes.
There's no shortage.
Okay, sorry. So this is from last week when Dabney Coleman died.
For his portrayal of obnoxious authority figures. He was a miserable, irascible keeper of antiquated attitudes in movies like 9 to 5, Tootsie, and On Golden Pond. From the 1970s to the end of the millennium, if there was a hot script with a meaty role for somebody who was good at playing slime bags, cowards, betrayers, bastards, rat bastards, sons of bitches, and pains in the ass, Coleman probably played it. There is an exchange on Golden Pond between Norman Thayer, played by...
This is for the kids out there.
Honda,
all the on Golden Pond fans.
Exactly.
But by the way, this is from the Tom Myers School of Comedy, I think. But when you're listening to a joke, this is kind of like a monologue, like a late night monologue. Should you be thinking like, when's it? Is this it? Is this the punchline? Like, when's it coming? We haven't gotten there yet.
Did we ever get to the bottom of his fucking Simpsons joke?
No, we never did.
Exchange on Golden Pond between Norman Thayer, played by Henry Fonda, and Billy Ray, played by Dabney Coleman. Norman says, "You should meet my father." Billy Ray says, "Your father's still alive?" Then Norman says, "No, but you should meet him." Well, Dabney, here's your chance. Rest in peace.
Jesus.
Did he just say someone should kill himself?
No. Dabney Coleman died. Oh. So he's like, hey.
That's actually kind of funny.
Not really. He went to it doesn't make any sense. It's not his real dad in the movie.
It's true. That's true.
Well, Craig likes G.D. Fenderson, so this might not work, but let's continue.
Funeral services were held for Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi, seen here pointing to the crash site on Thursday. The late president died in a helicopter crash in Iran.
That was a
8
terrible
people
joke.
died in the crash with Raisi. They were Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullah. Please stand by. We are having difficulties pronouncing Arabic names. Please stand by. Please stand by. We are having difficulties
You
pronouncing
really like this guy, huh?
names. Please stand by. Since all 9 died in an accidental
Craig's dying.
there will be
This is so terrible.
I think you like this guy. I think you're a closet Fenderson fan.
I don't
You're a
think
Fenderson.
I'm a Fenderson.
to paraphrase the soup Nazi, no virgins for you.
That's all I wanted, quite frankly.
The ICC International-
Go back. I wanted that in the outro.
Oh,
That's the only reason I'm playing this, just so you know. I want to hear that again, and I want that in the outro. Is that acceptable?
Sure.
Okay. So I just... I'm a Seinfeld fan, you know?
Name.
How much of that do you want in the outro?
Just no virgins for you.
Okay.
Please stand by. Since all 9 died in an accidental explosion, there will be, to paraphrase the soup Nazi, no virgins for you. The ICC International Criminal Court.
That was all I wanted. That's it. It's a hot topical reference. Listen, he went from On Golden Pond to Seinfeld, so he's moving closer up to topical references, you know?
I think you would have been perfect in Unfrosted. Something.
And no one has ever the Soup Nazi episode. I'm a Seinfeld fan. That's an episode that doesn't really get mentioned much.
Never.
No one ever really brings that up. So I think that's a real, like, if you're a real Seinfeld fan and someone's like, hey, what's your favorite episode of Seinfeld? You're like, the Soup Nazi episode. It's really like, that's the Soup Nazi is my favorite character in the whole show. That's really what Seinfeld's all about at the end of the day. So I think it was really hip and cool that he brought it back to that reference.
It is a good episode.
Can I just hear that one more time? No versions for you. Because he delivers it kind of like an Asian American sort of.
You. There will be, to paraphrase the soup Nazi, no virgins for you.
He does do it that way.
Yeah. Oh, no virgins for you.
No virgins.
Just as the Soup Nazi said it, you know?
You know the Soup Nazi. No virgins for you.
Very dishonorable, Mr. Costanza.
You dishonor family.
All right. So that was it. That's all. I just wanted to check on you. Honestly, I played that clip and laughed to myself for a really long time.
I didn't catch the Asian accent.
So that's what's happening in my house.
Dishonorable.
All right, that's it. Let's fucking close up shop here. Please go to blindmike.net. That's where you can support this program. By the way, like I said, Why You Laughing episodes will be exclusively on Patreon for the next few weeks. Patreon and YouTube members. So members only for the next few weeks. So subscribe, become a member for as little as $5 a month. You get all those episodes. Any that we release later, you get them way before anyone else. So consider doing that if you're a Why You Laughing fan. Also, for Blind Mike Project, we're always live, sort of, Sunday at 10 a.m., but sometimes we're extra live on Fridays. Sometimes we're really, really live on Fridays. So if you want the episode a couple days early, you can check that out as well. So consider becoming a member or just support the show for free. As I always say, the more support, the better. If you like us, that's supporting us a little bit. If you comment, that's a little more. You subscribe, you're a true fan, you know? All that stuff helps get more peepers on the show, more like-minded, more people that have a similar algorithm to you. They will find this program if you do all those things. So consider that. BlindMike.net is where you find all those links, wherever you get podcasts. Go to HackRideTheDemon.com, our boy HackRide, who does all the thumbnails and clips and intros and all that fun stuff for us. So check out HackRide. because he's doing all kinds of wacky stuff on his YouTube channel, by the way, which is remonetized again.
Go give him a
so-
super chat.
Yeah, go check out Hack Ride and support him because he's back in business, baby. And verygoodshow.org is where you can support Craig. Support all the boys that help this show out, will you?
Do it. New episode of Rubbed Out now.
What's it about?
This guy named Chester Pogue, who was in South Dakota and got the worst beating I've ever seen and somehow didn't die. And it was just gross. It's
Another
gross.
black guy eating watermelon?
Yeah, it was actually.
I know how that goes.
Four backwoods whites actually
Oh,
involved in
okay.
this one.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. Support all that stuff. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the show. And we'll talk to you next week.
And we have a mean transition.
Hey, it's BooG.
Sappers clear the way. Everyone all the way.
Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you listen in, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy beer, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always, rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story.
Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right.
Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Anyway, God bless America.
Died in an accidental explosion, there will be, to paraphrase the soup Nazi, no virgins for you.